Friday, you bastard.
What's Gary Hart doing tonight?
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's why inquiring minds read the Miami Herald. Is Maurice Ferrero really having sex with an alien from outer space?
It's in the Herald.
Is Paula Hawkins the true mother of the Elephant Man?
It's in the Herald.
Is John Kennedy sleeping with Max Headroom?
It's in the Herald.
Is Jim Baker about to give birth to Jerry Falwell's baby?
It's in the Herald.
Sex, 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 more hot sex!
Oh, it's in the Herald.
Plus Gary Hart's amazing rice diet from Florida. A crossword puzzle that has no answers. Our own Pulitzer Prizes just for us.
Ed Pope's love letters to Neil Rogers.
And we're so sorry, Uncle Albert, but we haven't heard a bloody thing all day. Mindless, babbling rhetoric.
It's all in the latest issue of
The Miami Herald. Available at supermarket checkout counters everywhere. And where finer manure is spread.
Oh, man, you can say that again. Too bad we can't play those sound effects, huh?
Well,
we can play this. Yeah. You call that a freaking newspaper?
I don't.
Call the Miami Herald a newspaper? What I'm hearing, the rumor around the building this morning is that even the South Florida Fish have, no, seriously, they've banded together and they've said that they refuse to be wrapped in the Miami Herald. Sun Sentinel, maybe.
New Times, City
New
Link.
Times, okay. City Link, well, but the Herald, no way. No way, Jose. I mean, it's one thing to be stupid. But this thing in the business section of the Herald today has got to be the worst article in a major market newspaper in history.
The opposite of true.
There is virtually nothing in this article by Howard Cohen that even comes close to being true. I see Barry Jackass has got another nice puff piece that he wrote for Greg Reed in the Sun Sentinel in the Herald today. But I mean, this thing, we'll get into it because I may do the whole show on the Herald today. I'm so nauseated and revolted. And you wonder, and then we got this thing with Nightline and with Sinclair Broadcast Group telling their 7 stations, ABC stations, well, you're not going to broadcast that thing tonight where Ted Koppel's going to read the names of all those dead soldiers. And you wonder why I rant and rave about the media and the fact that the American public doesn't get very much of the truth? You got to be schmitting me, man. And by the way, speaking of that, you just lean real close to that button there, Josh.
Just hit
lean on it
every now and again.
Yeah, when you feel like it. Just put your elbow on it.
When in doubt, dump it out, soldier boy.
We'll be talking to Dave Johnson at 11 o'clock about tomorrow's Kentucky Derby. I got my hoss. It's a Canadian thing, you know. I see one horse is out. Wimbledon's out. Wimbledon is for tennis anyway, not horse racing, right?
Right.
But at any rate, we'll talk to Dave a little bit later on about tomorrow's KY Derby. Let's see. Here's the results before we do anything else of the...
hit the button.
Just don't get all panicky now, okay, mister? Don't start getting a swelled head. First he started talking through his teeth, which is a bad sign, even though he's got the brain of a... Yeah. So just cool it. Just ease into it gradually. Don't start pretending to be Mr. Expert. Which of these people best fits the description of the ultimate redneck we asked yesterday? George W. Bush wins hands down, 364. Nice piece. Thanks to the guy that called in and gave us the heads up on Frontline last night on PBS.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't scintillating or anything like that about Bush and his born-again fanaticism.
Department of Health and Human Services, the Labor Department, and the Department of Justice. As he had done in Texas, he ordered these agencies to actively encourage faith-based groups to apply for money.
Great. So we all know all about that already. But I just, I watched it, I taped it, I'm not going to play it. About the fact that our president's a fanatical born-again nut job, which he is. 364 said he's the ultimate redneck. Bobby Bowden, 115, a distant second, but pretty good showing. Toby Keith, 94. Jeff Foxworthy at 69. John Rocker, 60. Jesse Helms, 48. Daniel Carver, 48. Steve Spurious had 44. Terry Bradshaw, 43. Terry Bowden, also 43, should have done a lot better than that. I just don't think as many people know about him as good old Bobby Bowden, and they just hate FSU anyway, so they're just picking on poor Bobby. Where it's Terry that's got his finger way up inside that nostril, man. He can scratch the inside of his head. He can, from the inside. Richard Petty, 40. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 40. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 39. Strom Thurmond and Ted Nugent each had 37. A lot of similarity there. Tanya Harding, 35. She moved up nicely. Hank Williams Jr., 29. Billy Carter, 28. He was a real, sir. Billy Bob Thornton, 27. David Duke, 26. Billy Ray Cyrus, 25. Charlie Daniels, 23. John Ashcroft had 22. James Carville, 16. Nice hairdo. John Daly, 15. Willie Nelson, 15. Jerry Glanville, the black outfitted one, 14. Sonny Fox, a dozen. That's amazing, isn't it? Sonny's probably happy there's a dozen people know who he is. Daryl Waltrip and Timothy McVeigh, 10 apiece. Jeremy Shockey, 7. Jimmy Johnson, 7. We got a shot, Jimmy. Bum Phillips, 6. Carl Malone at 6. Dolly Parton, 5. Imus. Oh, man, the I-Man at 5. Bill Frist at 5. Who likes to spend his evenings fristing the night away. Now watch it.
Huh?
Ross Perot, 5. Wayne LaPierre Jr. Yeah, he's reaching for it all right. Too bad it ain't the button. Charlie Pride, Andy Griffith each had 4. Jimmy Carter, Jerry Jones, Reba McEntire, 3 apiece. Art Modell, 3. Jimmy Buffett, 3. Art Modell? How did Art Modell get on this poll? All I did was say, was talking about bad sports owners, and Josh puts Art Modell on here.
Right. So be careful what you say.
Jimmy Buffett, 3. Marge Schott, she's dead, 2. Ted Kaczynski, 2. Zach Thomas, 2. 1 for Chris Collinsworth, Roy Clark, Matthew McConaughey, Randy Johnson, and no votes out of over 1,500. The big for Sam Elliott and Glenn Campbell. How could Glenn Campbell have none? I put him on there. They just wanted to piss me off. But it didn't work. Harold did it, though. Well, before we get into that, let me just do 2 things.
All right.
No, because I want to spend at least 20, 30 hours on this today. How could a major market newspaper put such garbage, such swill, in its newspaper? Big 106 not hurt by shock jock loss.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this has got to be the dumbest. You could understand this maybe like in the Weekly Reader, you know, maybe like in a grade school newspaper. Did you ever make, that's probably before your time. We used to like print stuff on gelatin.
On gelatin?
Yeah, you never heard of that? Make copies.
Oh, we made lithographs. We would carve stuff out and make prints.
No, but this was on gelatin.
No.
When I was a kid, that's the way you used to make copies of stuff. We didn't have like printers, you know, copies.
Right, no.
So you used to have like gelatin, and you'd have like purple ink. I don't know the whole thing, but you'd make copies that way. Even those of us kids who used to do that never printed such garbage as the Miami Herald does on a regular basis. You people are evil, man. You're the Antichristos. You're the Anticrispies. You are just brutal. The swill that you put in your newspaper. Evidently, they must be jumping into bed with Cheap Channel now, wouldn't you think? Yeah, it looks like it. You see, we got the Herald that takes, on the one hand, they got the Barry Jackass column. He's the mouthpiece for Greg Reed. And then evidently in the business section, they're the mouthpieces for Clear Channel. Anyway, we'll get to it. First, behind the beaded curtain today, we've got Elizabeth Grayson, who was born April 3rd, 1960, which makes her, last time I checked, 44. Old lady. Born in Ozark, Arkansas, her real name was Elizabeth Ward. That kind of interesting. Not real interesting, but kind of interesting. You change your name from Elizabeth Ward, which is kind of easy, rolls right off your tongue,
right,
to Elizabeth Grayson, which I don't know about that. I know Mark Grace. Remember Charlie Gracie.
Grace Slick.
Grace Land. Anyway, she's been all over the place. Interesting to you maybe, 5 days ago, as of April 25, she dismissed her agent, was giving up acting in order to pursue her interest in creating visual art. She's earned a BFA, was studying for an MFA. Oh, you better not dump MFA. We don't know what the MF stands for, you know what I mean? Watch it. Careful. Get your finger right near it. Let's see. She was in Highlander. That's, I guess, what she's famous for.
Right.
Amanda in the Highlander. About a whole bunch of those.
About 30, man.
Murder, She Wrote, Queen of Swords, Charmed, The Vampire Queen, Bite Me. It was the name of that episode. I don't think we can say that.
I did.
What?
Her. I bet her.
Jake and the Fat Man, The Incredible Hulk, Fortune Hunter, The Twilight Zone, Night of the Meek, 1985. She's been around. Past the Ammo, Three for the Road, Sidney Shelton, Sands of Time, The Strange Case of Tom Jicka and David Hyde, Final Mission, 83 Hours Till Dawn. All of these things. So there is Elizabeth Grayson behind the beaded curtain. Now, the way things are going right now, you better be dang sure that you got several pieces of ID. You passed for over the age of 47, and you got several people to vouch for you, too, because otherwise John Ashcroft, not only will his beady eyes start rolling around on the page there, but his hand will actually come out and grab you around the neck. Kind of like what Gwen was doing to Teresa on Passions. Well, you'll see that today. And I'm sure you'll be watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I better do the break, because once I get started, here's today's poll, okay? Once I get started on the Herald, I might just bust a gut. Here's the poll today on NeilRogers.com. And somebody suggested this yesterday. Don't blame me if you don't like it. Oh, gee, that's really another silly one. And by the way, for that JJ in Pembroke Pines that sent us that bitchy fax, so was it Monday or Tuesday morning, earlier in the week? About, well, the show just ain't the same anymore, and you're all this other crap. We sure as hell kicked some serious ass yesterday. We still don't know if we were number 1 or number 2 in midday because we got that CMQ-FM, that Gerardo Schwartz, whatever his name is on there, Guillermo Schwartz.
Right. Alvarez.
Whatever his name is. But at any rate, we did just fine. Okay, we zoomed up 2 points between the fall when the, and this book is no prize. Just because we did well, I'm not going to say, oh, this was a very scientific rating book. Crap is what it was. Power 96 is number 1 in the afternoon. Persons 2554. They went from 15th to 1st? Based on what? That's not even their target demographic. Oh, excuse me for saying demographic because the people of the Herald have no idea what that means. Seriously, you are Howard Cohen, whoever you are at the Miami Herald. You are the ultimate jackhole. That's what you are. You're shameless. You're beyond belief. At least if you're going to write something in the business section or any other section except the funny pages, have some idea what you're writing about. I bet you this guy don't even own a radio. And the big story out of the South Florida ratings yesterday, the big story was Big 106, taking a gigantic dump after Stern got taken off by Cheap Channel. And he writes with a headline, Big 106 not hurt by shock jock laws. It is unconscionable. It's idiotic. It's shameful. It's disgraceful that you people keep lying to the public. First it was about the Metro Rail, and then it's about something else, and just lying and lying. And poor Max Castro, you dumped his ass because he told too much of the truth. The Herald don't like people who tell the truth. That's why they hate me like poison. They can't stand the truth. We ought to send Jack Nicholson over there to straighten their ass out. Which of these people has the worst-looking hair, real or fake? And we're not really saying dead or alive. I guess we could put Howard Cosell on there to make Dave Johnson happy.
Sure.
Howard Cosell. Put him on there, too. Mo Howard David. Dennis Kucinich, here's my short list. Dennis Kucinich, Sam Donaldson, Donald Trump, and Howard Cosell. That's the first 5. The worst looking hair. Real, imaginary, make-believe, muskrat.
Absolutely.
All of these things. 12 minutes after 10 at 560 WQAM. Think about this. For a virtual company to succeed without any storefront locations, it means beating the competition on every dimension. That's why Dollar Mattress is so big. They've been doing it in South Florida for over 12 years. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you'll get better prices, better delivery times, better customer service, better everything. Dollar Mattress won the 2004 Better Business Bureau Local Torch Award for excellence because they work harder than anybody else to earn your business before, during, and after the sale. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS and speak with one of their expert bedding consultants, you can rest assured you're getting the best possible mattress anywhere. Choose from all the top names. They got them: Sealy, Serta, Simmons, King Coil, Tempur-Pedic, and Stearns and Bananas Foster. At 1-800-MATTRESS, you'll discover there's never an extra charge for same-day delivery either. Dollar Mattress takes same-day orders all day long from Kendall to Stewart, Palm Beach to Fort Myers. Don't forget, when you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you pick the date and 2-hour delivery window when you want your mattress delivered, when it's convenient for you. They're proud of their delivery record, on-time deliveries 99.7% of the time. I'm one of their zillions of satisfied customers, and I guarantee you will be too when you make that easy call. Just pick up the instrument, call 1-800-MATTRESS, or log on to their website at mattress.com. Dollar Mattress, the easiest piece of shopping you'll ever do. Just call 1-800-MATTRES, the easiest possible way to get you a great night's sleep for years to come.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The media is sick and needs help badly.
Absolutely.
Well, he's a Tallahassee Nazi. Woo! He got the money from his daddy. Woo! An anti-Semite little bratty. Woo! With an agenda that's crappy.
Yes.
Woo! Well, he's the Tallahassee Nazi. Of the FLA.
Oh, my God.
Well, he's the presidential son who doesn't have to run. No one else is gonna win. He might as well just move right in.
Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil.
He has a golden spoon. He was born with up his ass. So look out, all you Jews.
Woo!
Get ready for the gas. He's the Tallahassee Nazi.
Oi!
He'll give our civil rights a whammy. Woo! 'Cause he's the Tallahassee Nazi. Love of the FLA. Well, he's a very wealthy dude with very fascist views who never paid his dues. By next year, we'll all be screwed.
Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil.
Any schmuck could win that race against Buddy McKay. Why do you think they call it gubernatorial anyway? He's a Tallahassee Nazi. Woo! He'll make the KKK happy. Woo! Yeah, he's the Tallahassee Nazi. Love of FLA.
Increíble.
Come on, let's two-step. on, Adolf.
Come on, let's go watch Goober Goose Step. What do you say?
All right.
10:18 at 560 WQM. Anyway, here's the story I'm referring to in the business section of the Miami Fish Wrapper. Miami Herald, the worst newspaper that pretends to be a major market newspaper in the history of the United States. Is there any question about it?
No.
No. Piece of garbage. And they have no shame. Who was it? Was it Jim DeFeedy that wrote that article several months ago when he basically said, well, gee, we used to be pretty good at the Herald, but now we can't afford it anymore. And with all these budget cutbacks, we really suck. Well, you're right on target about that, Jim. You suck. Okay? Business section, Miami Herald, April 30th, 2004, a day that will live in infamy. Headline says, Big 106 not hurt by shock jock loss. Howard Cohen writes. Big 106's sudden replacement of the controversial but popular shock jock Howard Stern apparently had little impact on the radio station's most recent ratings. In the 3-month period ended March 31st, the ranking of WBGG 105.9 FM, aka Big 106, fell from 21st to 22nd in overall ratings in the demographic of 12 and above, the latest Arbitron figures released Thursday show. That's the only number he's got in here that's accurate, and of course it doesn't mean anything because nobody cares about 12 plus. But anyway, he goes on to say, and here, I mean, if you're going to lie, don't just make up numbers, you jackhole. In morning drive time hours, however, when Stern's show aired, the station maintained its number 17 position. Most of the tracking period included Stern's show except for March. Well, of course, since it's only 3 months, that's a third of the book, March. You idiot. You jackhole, you. The full effect of Stern's departure in late February will likely be felt in the next quarter's tracking period. Super Bowl fallout in the wake of Janet Jackson's bared breast swept Stern off the air at Clear Channel Communications' own stations across the country, including Big 106. On February 25th, the station swapped Stern's talk show for the airing of off-played classic rock cuts from the likes of Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and Pink Floyd. Then it goes on about CMQ-FM did this, and Power 96 did that, and very briefly, and that's it. We don't get a mention because we don't do 12 plus, and nobody cares about 12 plus except Howard Cohen. Let's go back to that one paragraph about where he says the station maintained its number 17 position in morning drive. Well, let me just tell you right now, right in my hand, not just because somebody called and made up a bunch of numbers, but here it is right from Arbitron, okay? Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m., persons 12 plus. Again, a demo we really don't care about, but nevertheless, that's what he's talking about. In the fall book, WBGG had a 4.3 share. They were number 4. Where he gets to 17, I don't know, because they were never number 17, either one, 12 plus. So I guess he just picked a number and stuck with it. Number 4 in the fall. In the winter book, they went from a 4.3 down to a 2.7, from 4th to 18th in 12 plus. A precipitous drop. Their cume dropped 40,000 people. Their time spent listening dropped 45 minutes. But don't confuse Howard Cohen with those things, because I'm sure he has got no idea what any of that means. Now, for this clown who says, well, it didn't really affect him at all, let's take a look, okay? Howard Cohen, you idiot, you imbecile, you lightweight, you featherweight, you simpleton, you goofball, you total absolute incompetent. Do a little bit of homework. Is that possible? No. He's just a mouthpiece, I guess, for Pete Bolger, just like we got Barry Jackass. The only difference is nobody reads Barry Jackass with a brain, just the sports nerds, okay? And we already got them all locked up, except the 3 are going to be listening to Carl Foster.
Oh.
In February, well, let me just go back to the beginning of the year. Men 18 plus. 6 to 10 a.m., Big 106 had a 7.1 share. In February, that's the Howard Stern show, 6 to 10, all 4 hours. February, they had a 9.9 share. In March, without Howard Stern, they had a 1.8 share.
Oh, my God.
9.9, 1.8. Does anybody see this picture, okay? Does anybody need a translator for me to interpret this picture for them, okay, boys and girls?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you the first time. Say that again.
Dropping off the face of the earth from a 9.9 to a 1.8.
Oh, my God.
How do you like that?
Well, that's not a noticeable difference.
No. Not hurt by shock jock loss. You are seriously, this again in a major market newspaper, not in some like handout that they're handing out on street corners somewhere, not in one of those rags where they just put a bunch of ads in there and throw a couple of articles in like the local yokel town reader or whatever they call that crap. In what is supposed to be a prestigious newspaper, Pulitzer Prize winning Miami Herald, well, those days are long gone, okay? You're an industry joke. You're a disgrace. Here's a fact that says, I was listening to the Today Show this morning. Katie Couric, how tragic, was interviewing 2 investigators about the American torture of Iraqi civilians. Oh, you saw those videos, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did.
Pretty disgusting.
Nice.
What were they doing? Like having an orgy there? They were trying
so
like an
proud.
S&M thing?
There we go back to faggery again.
Well, it's always the case.
I know.
About the American torture of Iraqi civilians in the same prison Hussein allegedly was torturing the same people.
It's tradition.
Well, we figure they're used to it.
Right.
They're always bitching about we're breaking down their traditions. We want them to feel them comfortable. One method of torture was revealed in the pictures was attacking the Iraqis naked in the shape of a pyramid. Anybody who fell off were shocked with a thumb kind of apparatus thing. Well, we can't tell you where they put the thumb because then Josh will dump it. Says, we are torturing civilians. Have you seen the documented pictures? Have you seen the story? Of course. We've all seen it. We're also handcuffing male civilians, forced to wear women's underwear to sell bars. Right. We're degrading and humiliating, etc., and so on. Now, what is this? What is this? Former Ohio Congressman Jim Traficant. What does that mean?
For the poll.
Oh, his hairpiece. Okay. Well, I'm a little distracted right now. I got bigger fish to fry. Put him on there. All right.
All right.
Also, Don King. Says Howie. You got it.
We've only
Don
got
King.
5 faxes about Don King.
That kind of, my finger's still stuck in the socket and I can't get it out. That kind of look. Anyway, getting back to this article, this is just so grotesque and so pathetic. And when the entire spring book comes out, Big 106 is going to practically vanish from the face of the radio broadcast map in South Florida. And whoever put the headline in here, obviously this was an article with a purpose, with an agenda. Because I realize that the people that write the article don't write the headlines, but whoever did write the headline, there was definitely a message in here. Big 106, not hurt by shock jock loss. You should live so long, okay? I think people ought to be canceling the Herald in droves today. I'm not going to renew it. In fact, for nobody being at home, I'm not going to renew it. They can rot in hell. I'll grab one of the Heralds off the ground there that sit in the front, those 15, 20 of them that sit around on the floor that nobody wants to read. I'll grab one of those when I come in when I'm there. The idea that anybody would pay for a newspaper that just, inaccuracy would be one thing, but that just makes up a bunch of crap, a bunch of lies, that takes a great journalist like Max Caster off their op-ed page because of the fact that he tells too much of the truth and because he doesn't fit in with their pandering agenda. That's all they know about is pandering. Who are they pandering to here? I guess Cheap Channel, huh?
Yeah,
they're going to go into business with them. They make a good match.
Sure.
Cheap Channel and the Herald. A disgrace. An absolute industry disgrace. There it is. I can't tell you what I just wiped with it, okay, the Herald? And believe me, it wasn't what you think. I wouldn't touch myself with it. No way. 1026 at 560 WQMD. Lights of West Book is dedicated to providing you with the best products for weight loss phase of your low-carb diet. If you're on the Atkins, Sugar Buster, South Beach, or any low-carb, sugar-free diet, you're going to love this store because it's the #1 low-carb store in the U.S. of A. Now, I want you to listen because many of the new reduced-carb products on store shelves are geared toward cutting back on carbs but not really on losing weight. Delights of West Boca's expertise has always been and continues to be on the weight loss phase of low-carb dieting. They've got over 1,000 products with a focus toward the lowest carbs possible that can all fit into a successful low-carb weight loss plan. The spring sale at Delights is in full swing, so stop on by and load up on good stuff. They got a staff that knows dieting inside and out. They're open every day, 7 days a week, 10 till 10. Delights of West Boca, you'll find them on the northeast corner of Glades and 441, right next to Boston Market, or you can call them toll-free at 1-877-LOW-CARB, that's with a W, LOWCARB, or on the web it's lowcarb.com. Don't forget, Delights of West Boca is your official Atkins retail center.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. UAM.
Mr. President, our polls show the American people are concerned about the gigantic budget deficit.
Yeah, I understand. Hey, I got an idea. Let's cut taxes.
This man suffers from a serious affliction called DADD, Deficit Attention Deficit Disorder. But he's not alone.
Senator Kerry, what will you do about the budget deficit?
We need to increase taxes, but not quite as much as we increase spending.
Virtually every politician suffers from Deficit Attention Deficit Disorder. Those affected are unable to stop spending more money than they're bringing in. And now, alarmingly, DADD has spread to the general population.
Honey, look at this credit card bill.
You're right. We've got to do something. Oh, look, big screen TV's on sale.
Let's go!
Please give generously to the DADD Fund and We'll spend more on research than we get in donations because we too suffer from deficit attention deficit disorder. Until we find a cure for spending the money you can't afford to send us, we'll be forever in your debt.
10:32 at 560 WQAM. What do we got so far in this pool? Which of these people has the worst looking hair, real or fake? Donald Trump, 55. Mo Howard David at 26. Sam Donaldson, 23. Don King, 4. He'll do better than that. Howard Cosell, 2. Dennis Kucinich appear. And none yet for Marv Albert. Gene Keady, don't even know who that is.
Keady, he's a Purdue basketball coach.
Is that how you spell it?
Yeah, Gene Keady.
Keady is Keady?
Yes.
And Marv Albert, none. 120. I'm going to check that during the break. Not that I doubt your spelling, but I think you're full of it.
Why would you doubt him?
Because he's usually wrong. Anyway, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I'll take a few calls, but I'm just whipped up about this other Ted Koppel thing, too. It's just so, it's typical of what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. The media is just brainwashing and dumbing down the public. The public hasn't got any idea what the hell's really going on, and this is what passes for news in America, including that piece of crap, the Herald. I wouldn't wipe your ass with the Herald. How do you like that?
I wouldn't let you.
I'm not talking about you.
Oh.
WQAM, hello.
I must have been talking to you, Soldier Boy.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got a dude for your poll.
Yeah.
How about Mean Gene the Dancing Machine?
WQAM, hello. QAM, hello. Hola.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Happy Friday, Uncle Neil.
Back to you.
I would like to add a name to your wonderful poll for today.
Yes, sir.
How about Ted Koppel?
Ted Koppel's got really bad hair, and I bet you it's standing right up straight right now.
It's a raccoon that just happened to have died on his head.
He just wants to be howdy-doody. He had a frustrated childhood. Thanks, Pally.
I'm frustrated myself, Uncle Neil. Take care.
I don't blame you. Ted Koppel, Koppel. Speaking of him, I'm glad he mentioned that. He's got brutal hair. I'll tell you another one. Aaron Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and of course it's not brown. I will say that for him. It's red, it's black, it's orange, it's all kind of shades and colors. It's like a chameleon piece. It's kind of like Moe's a little bit, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kind of like blackish around the edges and kind of chameleon red. It's all over. Aaron Brown. Plus he sucks anyway. He's just awful. He's so whiny. He's the Jew Lieberman of journalism. Sinclair Broadcast Group has ordered its 7 ABC stations not to broadcast Friday's Nightline tonight.
Oh, my God.
That will air the names and photos of more than 500 U.S. troops killed in the Iraq War. In a statement online, and I never even heard of the Sinclair Group. I know it was a gas station. I never heard of did you know that they had the TV stations?
No.
Never heard of them. We have now. In a statement online, the Sinclair Group said the Nightline program appears to be motivated by a political agenda designed to undermine the efforts of the United States in Iraq. Sinclair's decision announced yesterday drew a sharp response from ABC News. We respectfully disagree with Sinclair's decision to preempt Nightline's tribute to America's fallen soldiers, ABC News said in a statement. The Nightline broadcast is an expression of respect which simply seeks to honor those who have laid down their lives for this country. The show, titled The Fallen, will air at 11:35 tonight. In it, newsman Ted Koppel will read the names of the U.S. troops killed in action while their pictures are shown to the viewers. As of yesterday, 533 U.S. Don't tell Paul Wolfowitz this either. He's about 200 short. You see his testimony the other day? He thinks about 300 have died. He didn't know what he's talking about.
He was just talking about this month.
Oh. As of yesterday, 533 U.S. troops have been killed in action in the U.S. In the Iraq War. Another 204 died from non-hostile incidents, 737. Sinclair General Counsel Barry Faber confirmed the company told ABC affiliates not to air tonight's Nightline. We find it contrary to public interest, he said. ABC said that on the first anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, it aired the names and pictures of all those who died on that day. ABC News will continue to report on all facets of the war in Iraq and the war on terrorism in a manner consistent with the standards which ABC News has set for decades, it said. Sinclair's statement said ABC is politicizing the war. In other words, we're only supposed to show the good stuff that's going on, not the fact that these dead people are giving their lives for whatever it is.
A lie.
Mr. Koppel and Nightline are hiding behind the so-called tribute in an effort to highlight only one aspect of the war effort, and in doing so, try to influence public opinion against the military action in Iraq, the statement said. Here comes the real interesting part of this story. According to campaign finance records, top executives at Sinclair have given more than $8,000 to the Bush-Cheney re-election campaign. The executives haven't given any donations, zero, zippity, not one penny, to John Kerry or anybody else. Sinclair owns and operates programs or provides sales services to 62 stations in 39 markets, according to its website. They're Il Anticristo, man. In addition to the 8 ABC outlets, Sinclair's TV group includes 20 Fox, 19 WB, 6 UP. How come they're not bitching about putting Fox's programming on the air?
That's patriotic.
That's fair and balanced journalism. Huh? It reaches approximately 24% of all U.S. television households, according to the website. The group's ABC stations are in Pensacola and Tallahassee, St. Louis, Charleston, West Virginia, Columbus, Asheville, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Springfield, Massachusetts. ABC News will show the tribute live on its large TV screen in Times Square in New York. I think it's a nice thing that they're doing. It's long overdue. And what do we get? We get a bunch of Bush lickers. The Sinclair Group. Oh, we're not going to let you show that. We don't. And, of course, it's 11:35 at night. So, in other words, all the rest of the day when people are actually awake and watching TV, then we can put all the propaganda on there. You know, we can keep making excuses and kissing Bush's and Cheney's ashes. That's okay. What is this thing here now? This phony
stuff.
Oh, this is cute. From Aintree, Georgia. What? Isn't it amazing how people will take so much time to put out a bunch of crap? This is Reverend Jones.
Is it now?
Yeah. Nose Pickers of America. You did a poll based on who's the big. You can see it right at the top. Oh, so weak, so boring, so trying to be funny. See, one thing about doing this show over the years is one of the worst things, I mean the worst, is people out there with their faxes, with their phone calls who think they're real funny, real humorous, and almost always they're not. You know what I mean? Kind of like Joey Reynolds, same thing.
Ooh.
People who think they're a real hoot and they're not. Yeah, like him. 5670560. So there you go. I read that just as another example of what the hell's going on in this country, and that is managed news. It's not bad enough that none of the networks give you the real news anyway. Not one of them has got the cones to really go nuts about this. Look at, here's the new CNN poll. How's Bush handling Iraq? Disapprove 49%, approve 48%. April of last year, 76% approved, 21% disapproved. What a difference a year makes, huh? And 737 dead American bodies, based on a lie. No, we don't want you to show that because it's bad for the Bush people, it's bad for the government, it's bad for business, it's bad for the propaganda war, is what they're saying. An absolute disgrace. Talk about blatant and brazen, huh?
Yeah.
And then, of course, keep in mind when CBS wanted to show the Reagan miniseries, same thing. The right-winger, I gotta hand it to you, folks. You've done it. We don't have a whole lot of them listening to this show, but we have some of them monitoring the program, if you catch my drift. Right. You've done it, man. You've got it lock, stock, and bagels. You just got your hands right on it. And you're squeezing real tight. Really messed up all their plans when Bubba got in there for 8 years. They did everything under the sun to try to get his ass out of there. They came dang close. They couldn't beat him in an election fair and square, even unfair, because it wasn't close enough to fix it, so they had to try the impeachment process, the old stained blue shirt deal. Penisgate. So now they're back in there again, Rumsfeld and Wolfowitz and Richard Pearl and the old Cheney, the old crowd of neocons, chicken hawks, and they're doing their thing. And then that show on last night, combined with that article we had yesterday about the Armageddon crowd, 33% of Republicans are into this Armageddon crap, these born-again fundamentalists who can't just wait for that day to be coming so we can get on that road to Armageddon. These Israel lackeys, not because of the fact they like the Jews or they really care about Israel, but because it's part of the prophecy, baby, for Armageddon. So that we can make an offer you can't refuse, including the Jews, then you're all going to go to hell anyway. Well, we just, and they talk about the Muslims being crazy with the 72 virgins and all of that crap.
Jew will convert or die.
I see. Sounds like an old story brought back again.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
It's the movie everyone is talking about. The controversial story of the final days of Donald Trump and his 12 apprentices. The Passion of the Donald.
People, tonight somebody is going to betray me.
The Passion of the Donald triumphantly chronicles the last board meeting.
Omarosa, you mean to tell me that you betrayed me for 30 pieces of silver? You could have easily gotten 3 times that much. Omarosa, you're fired.
The Passion of the Donald. He may be whipped, but he's never defeated.
I've always fantasized about you whipping me. But if you're going to work for me, you will have to hit a lot harder than that. Katrina, you're fired.
Don't miss the awe-inspiring conclusion of The Passion of the Donald, when one blessed apprentice finally nails down the job.
Bill, Kwame, it's time to decide who goes up to the heavenly suite and who goes down to the street. But to find out, you'll have to endure something far more painful than crucifixion. A 2-hour live finale.
The Passion of the Donald. If you don't see it,
you're fired.
Did it. 10:46 at 560 WQAM. 130th Kentucky Derby tomorrow. The KY Derby's coming up. Dave Johnson will be calling at 11 o'clock. You ready for it?
I'm ready. Well, no.
This week's National Enquirer, they finally put some stuff in there. It's not, I don't know, secret evidence that got Jacko indicted. I'll read that. Front page, O.J. confesses, okay, I did it, so what? And there's a picture of O.J. with that angry look on his puss, you know, that really angry look. Plus, his lawyer's widow breaks her silence. She don't say anything. Kardashian, she didn't say anything. Daughter overhears him admit to the murders. This is another one of those, we think she overheard it and she forgot about it, but she repressed it and now it's coming back to her and maybe he said it. It's pretty bizarre. They're desperate. There ain't too much going on these days. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the whole magazine.
Okay.
Well, now that Monica the movie, new tell-all book, will become a show-all film about the affair with Prez. It's going to be down and dirty. We can't say down where because then Josh will be leaning on that button over there. But anyway, she's got that movie coming out, and she's at least being honest about it now. She wants to make some more cash. And why the hell not? He's making plenty of cash. He's got that book coming out. Hillary's making big, big bucks. Right?
Right.
So why can't that bitch, that slut Monica, make some cash too? O.J. murder confession, daughter Sydney. We'll get to that eventually, okay? I wouldn't get too excited about it, though. You know, you always see the picture on the front page and the big headline, then you can read the inside like, oh, gee, that's pretty disappointing. You let us down, I think. Maybe they're getting like the Herald. If they don't have anything juicy, they'll just make something up. Like, hey, look at Big 106. They're doing just fine without Howard Spermeister. Which of these people has the worst looking head of hair, real or imagined? Donald Trump, 80. And the worst part of it is it's real. That's the word we think. Mo Howard David at 41. We know about that piece. Sam Donaldson, 28. Don King, 18. Jim Trafficant, 12. Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about him. He is really a wild child.
Like he worked at it.
Gene Katie's got 3. Ted Koppel, 3. Marv Albert, 2. Howard Cosell, 2. Dennis Kucinich, 2. And Aaron Brown don't have any yet out of 191. How can that be? Aaron Brown, silly-looking coot. Line 9, QAM.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
Neil, I have the number if you want me to tell your listeners for Channel 10 down here in Miami to make sure they do air that.
Well, Channel 10 is carrying it, sir. They're carrying it tonight.
Channel 10 down here is carrying it?
Yes.
All right, I'll make a VHS copy for you because maybe you don't get it up there.
Yeah, we do get it from Buffalo, and they're carrying it too. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate his efforts and all that. Let's see, Channel 18 on my cable is. Oh, wait a minute, wait. Oh, why did I do that? Just in.
In blankets at 1 and 2 in the morning because it was a cold evening by.
Oh my God! Michael arrives at court for the arraignment just in. Are they an embarrassment or what?
Yeah.
Just in. Everything is breaking news. Just in. Breathless. Oh, there's a WKBW Channel 18 ABC in Buffalo.
Ortega and Hope and Faith.
Oh, they got spots on right now. We don't want to do no spots. Plus, you never know what words come by blurting out on air on ABC station, right? Something that Josh would have to lean over and all over the place.
That's right.
WQAM, hello. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, how about Carl Ravage? He's got a silly-looking wig up there.
Carl Ravage?
The guy from ESPN?
Never seen him. What about it, Josh? You're the
Baseball
expert.
Tonight.
He says forget about it. He said forget about it. I don't even know who that is.
I never heard of him. Oh,
I remember Bob Savage, rest in peace. And then, of course, Michael Savage, who ought to be in pieces. I noticed Jicka took a real good shot there at Michael Savage. Nice going, Tom. By the way, hey, Tom, how about some names? WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, I have one for your poll.
Yes, sir?
Don King.
No kidding. Don King, who's got 21 votes already. Thank you. This is my favorite part. It's amazing how we it's like an evolutionary process.
Right.
And my favorite part of the poll now is when somebody calls in like they're all excited. Hey, I got one. It's a great one. And it's, got 85 votes already.
We should keep count. See if we can beat our old records and such.
Yeah. Oh, I think we got a shot, as Jimmy would say. By the way, his hair ain't exactly what you call real. It's like greased down and everything, but he's got a really bad Bad wig. Whatever. Is that real, Jimmy Johnson?
So he says.
I see.
Looks
well,
real.
give a yank on it and see what happens.
All right.
In fact, when Mo comes in Monday morning, Mo was out ill this morning. He got wind of his numbers from yesterday. And I do mean got wind in the most literal sense. And he's got, what Duff said is he thought that maybe Mo suffered a little nausea after seeing those numbers. That's what Duff said. Okay? I don't want to create any kind of a problem there, but I'm just quoting what he told me. Didn't you hear him say it?
Hear what?
Nausea from seeing those weak morning numbers. I mean, Howard Stern goes off the air. We go up 2 points. Afternoons go up to number 1. They go up a full point. And our morning drive show goes down 0.6 of a point. With the big competition there, with the big shot going off the air for a whole month, you would think they'd go zooming up there if we had anything going there in the morning. But evidently, we don't. WQAM, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is this Neil?
Sounds like me.
Hi. I have somebody for the poll.
Okay.
Okay. Could it be a woman?
Sure.
Okay. Naomi Campbell.
Naomi Campbell's got bad hair?
Mm-hmm.
You sure she ain't just having a bad hair day?
She's having a bad hair day her whole life.
Okay.
And you asked for me yesterday?
I asked for you?
Yes.
And?
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Oh, okay. 5670560. Well, they got to go somewhere, you know. They're looking for a place to land. Uh-huh. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How about Bill Kamal?
Bill Kamal, she's got a bad piece.
Yeah, what the hell is that thing?
It's alive, I know that.
All right,
Thanks, Pally. We'll see you. Yeah, the weather fairy from Channel 7, Miss Kamal, she's got a real freaky thing. I don't know if that's for real or not. But I wouldn't touch it if I were you. God only knows where that thing's been. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing? How about
Pretty good.
Brian Grant? Brian Grant from the Miami Heat. You ever see that mop on his head? It looks like
No.
he just pulled it out of a mop bucket.
Okay, Brian Grant. That sounded like Woody to me, didn't it?
Sure did.
Yeah, that sounded like Woody. So you can put it on there or not. If you don't feel like putting it on there, it's okay, too, because that was Woody, who's a real jackhole. And we can't stand him, and we despise him like poison. And we don't care about the Miami freaking Heat anyway on this show, do we, at all?
No.
Even a little teeny tiny bit?
No.
I don't care if they win, which they won't. But we don't care about them. WQAM, hello.
Hey, how about Dennis Rodman?
Denise Rodman is a magnificent choice. Thank you so much.
I just pulled it out of the fax machine. Dennis Rodman.
You pulled him out of the fax machine?
I was
Good.
going to fax it to you, but now I don't have to.
Well, be sure and change the cartridge.
With gloves.
Barry Jackass, speaking of jackholes, Barry Jackass writes, ready for a third all-sports station? This is an article, again, ghost-written by Barry Jackson on behalf of Greg Reed, our general manager at QAM, who puts he programs all the material that Barry writes in his column every Friday. They must have a little chat. They get together and maybe they have a chat room. And they sit down. In fact, maybe the two of them ought to have a chat show. Mornings would be good because it'd certainly be an improvement over what we got on there right now.
Absolutely.
At least in the early part of the morning. Ready for a third all-sports station, asks Barry Jackass in today's Herald. Just filled with all kinds of crap. There are a few things we don't particularly need in South Florida. Yeah, like your column, Barry. That would be a great start. More late afternoon rainstorms during the summer, for example, or higher gas prices, or yes, another sports talk radio station, says Barry. Although nobody is clamoring for it, local businessman Carl Nine Lives Foster on Monday launches the market's third all-sports AM radio gabfest, 1400 The Fan. Unfortunately, most of Foster's hosts have the same recognition as your mailman. Nobody knows who the hell they are, and nobody will either because nobody's going to be listening. And don't be surprised if South Florida gets a fourth all-sports station in the next few months. ESPN Radio, which passed on doing business with Foster, is aggressively pursuing another outlet in the market. Oh, and speaking of 1400 The Fan, you do realize that meant this morning was the last edition of the current incarnation of the Norma Lee Kent show.
Right. Well, I just found out this morning.
Because they were buying that hour form on there, 8 to 9 or whatever. So no more Norma Lee Kent on the radio. So you see, there's something that's going to come out of that. It says ESPN declines to discuss Foster, but undoubtedly covets a stronger signal than Broward-based 1400, which has spotty penetration in much of Dade. Right. And much of Broward. Instead, Foster will use programming from Sporting News Radio, also carried by WQM, and we're not too happy about it, and Sports Byline USA. Foster is buying airtime on 1400, though most of his expenses being covered by a marketing firm that purchased 80% of Foster's business. People who buy airtime generally like to hear themselves on the radio, and Foster is no different, writes Barry. Oh, that sounds like a shot. He's going to have former Miami Stingrays quarterback Anita Marks and James Brown from Fox NFL. and Tom Alexander that nobody ever heard of, and Dino Costa from Jacksonville that nobody ever heard of, and Arnie Spanier and Ronnie Barr that nobody ever heard of. And on it goes. And Barry says, we've been through this before, 1700 the fan, and we've been through this silliness before, is what Barry said. And if anybody knows silly, it's the guy.
Local. This is 560. The radio's all yours now. QAM.
Only in the Banana Republic, baby. Only in Miami.
Tomorrow, the 130th running of the Kentucky Derby. Now, I got a guy on the phone right now who's called at least 100 of them.
I did.
Did you?
Yes, sure.
Do you regret it?
I'm a little old, but no, I don't regret it. How about you, Neil? How many have you seen?
About 135. Dave Johnson is with us. Dave will be calling the Derby tomorrow. There is no Derby unless Dave can call it, so you're going to have to live forever, I guess is what it is. Now, you don't even have to ask me which horse I like, do you? Because I'm sitting here in Toronto, and we got the Toronto connection.
Who do you like?
Smarty Jones.
I like Smarty Jones, too.
Oh, no, that's bad.
Oh,
Smarty
my God,
Jones, this is an incredible story. I got a front-page story from yesterday's National Post, which is a horrible newspaper, by the way, as I'm sure you know. But anyway, it says murder, injury, and the terminal illness, near-fatal looming, and all these things in their past can't keep Smarty Jones from being undefeated and maybe winning the Derby. It's an incredible story. And Stuart Elliott, a New England jockey who used to be at Hialeah every now and then in its dying days, Stuart Elliott's
He'll
going to
be an
right.
overnight sensation.
You think?
Well, I mean, he's only, worked his ass off in the business for 30 years.
No, we got to caution Dave. I mean, we can say ass, but let's not go a little bit beyond that, because in the present climate, since we talked to you last, we're rapidly losing our ability to say about 90% of what we said in the past. You understand? Out of the new regime we have in Washington now, we have to be very, very cautious. So you've reached your quota. You could say ass once, and now be on your best behavior.
Okay, I'll be on my best behavior. He's worked very hard in the business.
Watch your ass.
He's worked very hard in the business for 30 years, and he'll be an overnight sensation. He's won 3,000 races, and this could be one more.
I mean, reading this story about how he smashed his head in the starting gate and they thought he was going to die, I mean, this is an unbelievable story.
You're talking about the horse now, not the jockey.
Not the jockey, no. He collapsed unconscious. He reared in the gate, smashing his head into an iron bar, collapsed unconscious, his head tucked between his forelegs, and his right eyeball driven into his skull with blood pouring from his nostrils. I mean, this is amazing, and now he's undefeated.
And he could easily get to the front probably halfway through and just run away.
Yeah, you think?
Well, he was a very good 2-year-old too, Neil. I mean, he ran some numbers that were they knew right away that this was a freakish horse. And I say that, just like Ruffian was a freak, this horse is just faster than his contemporaries.
It's probably just as well with the current climate that's going on that Bob Baffert's horse got the scratch Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Because, if he were to have won, and you know what he does when he gets up there, especially with you guys up after the race, he has a tendency to unleash a few expletives too. So it's good that Bob's not in the race.
I'm on the radio now, Neil. I don't do the TV anymore.
Yeah, you didn't have to remind us.
I love radio.
That. But we're delighted to have you on the radio because, quite frankly, radio is becoming an anachronism. There ain't much left on radio no more, so we're delighted to still have you.
I love it.
So who else do you like to hook Smarty Jones up with tomorrow, Dave?
Well, how about the gray horse Tappet coming from behind, in the stretch?
I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can say the name of that horse.
Tappet?
Oh! Okay.
Tappet.
That's what I was going to pick.
Okay.
Because I like the name.
Well, that's my second choice. Who's your second choice? Because we'll throw Smarty Jones out, and you and I have to have our side bet here.
No, I'm going to pick Imperialism, Kent DeSormo.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why do you say that?
He's not fast enough.
Okay. Well, he could surprise you. All the surprises come in the Derby every year.
Yeah, they really could.
So I'm hooking up Smarty Jones with Imperialism. I just think DeSormo's a good. Although, who knows? I would be lying to you if I say I followed, real closely. But the Smarty Jones story is very big up here in Canada. And since you agree, and since he had such a great 2-year-old season, he might be the one.
Now, did you watch any of the races in Florida? There's this horse, Read the Footnotes, who I just saw on television, but he ran a couple big races down.
Robbie Alvarado.
Is that bad?
No, it's not bad. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, if he did it before, if Read the Footnotes ran the big ones before, why couldn't
Well,
he?
let's see. If we go till noon, I'll give you a chance. You could probably pick, there's a 19-horse field here. You could probably pick 6 or 7 more the way you're going here.
Well, that's my trifecta, though.
Okay.
Smarty Jones, Tappet, and read the footnotes.
Okay. I got
And
Smarty
you've got-
Jones imperialism, and I'll read the footnotes in there too, just to make you feel better.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
listen, have a great call tomorrow, as you always do. You'll
Thank
be
you.
pleased. Before I let you go, you'll be pleased to know our poll today is about people with bad-looking hair, and your close personal friend, the late Howard Cosell, is doing just fine.
Hey, I saw Hank Goldberg. He said that things are very well at the station, and things are good.
Things are fine. Things are from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. Things are just going swimmingly well. Now, in the morning, in the early morning hours, your good friend Mo Howard David, who refers to this race, by the way, as the KY Derby. I just thought I'd pass that along to you. Mo is having a few problems, but we're trying to straighten him out.
Okay.
Have a great day tomorrow, Dave. We'll look forward, and we'll talk to you at Preakness time.
Best of luck, Neil. Talk to you at the Preakness.
Take care. Dave Johnson. Trent Lott for the poll. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Says Sieg Heil, his hair looks just like a helmet. So what did Dave say? He said tap it. Now, did you dump it or did you tap it?
I tapped it twice.
Let's see. Mr. Mark, somebody or other says, just wanted your listeners to know you can catch a 2-minute video on the BBC website, bbc.co.uk, that shows the Iraqi prisoner abuse. What faggery, it says. And, sir, you are
absolutely correct, sir.
right on it. Amazing. 5670560. So how do you like that? Dave Johnson and I both like Smarty Jones, which is quite a story, that horse. Nearly died. 5670560. Let's take a call on line 5. QAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, I got a name for your poll.
Yes, sir?
I've been running out of my car all morning, so don't jump on me now if he's on there already, but I don't think he is. He's a good one. Matt Lauer?
Matt Lauer's got brutal hair. Good choice, and he's not on there. You'll be pleased to know.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pally. Matt Lauer, you got it?
We got it.
Which of these people has got the worst looking hair, real or imaginary? Dead or alive? Donald Trump, 114. I don't think they're going to touch the Donald.
Because they don't
Does
want
that
to?
surprise you a little bit? Well, see, more people would be voting for Mo, but they ain't seen him yet. They haven't seen that thing. Mo Howard David at 50. Sam Donaldson, 34. Don King, 33. Jim Trafficant, 21. Gene Cady, 8. Marv Albert, 6. Ted Koppel, 6. Howard Cosell, 4. Dennis Kucinich, 4. Brian Grant has got 1. Dennis Robinson, 1. Aaron Brown, Bill Kamal, they don't have either one yet. Aaron Brown don't have any, and Miss Kamal, she don't have any either, is what we're hearing.
Any what?
Can't say.
Oh.
Tap it. Let's see, you're sending me some interesting blank faxes here, some blank pages. It's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. Like 2 out of the last 3 pages, I would say.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, this last one that says page 1 out of 3. I hope the other 2 don't come through because they'll probably be blank too. WQAM, hello.
Stop the polls, please.
WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how about Condoleezza?
Condoleezza's got nasty looking hair, and the rest of her too to go along with it. Well, we hadn't heard from the Whisperer in a few days there, huh? He must be having trouble getting through. Or maybe he's just looking for a life, you know?
I have no life.
Yeah,
So was this anything important that you just faxed me, or was this,
just stuff. I'm trying again here.
Okay, try it again. I got plenty of paper. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line, Sinclair Broadcasting, and the Miami Herald. What do they have in common? They suck. That's what they have in common. Twist and manipulate and want to brainwash the public. And these people just blatantly. I mean, at least the Herald didn't come out and put it on the front page of the front section. Hey, we're going to give you a bogus report about the ratings and about Big 106 and about Howard Sperm. They didn't do that. But Sinclair just basically comes right up front and says, hey, guess what? You can't carry it. We're prohibiting any of our affiliates to carry it because we don't like the message. It's bad for business. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Pretty good.
For your poll, how about any jig with cornrows?
Cute. 5670560. Oh, we did have a point. Pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. One of your people, I should point out.
He was?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
No question about it. Am I right?
Absolutely.
I knew it. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
It's Brian Andrews at Channel 7. How are you?
Hey, Brian, how you doing? Brian at Channel 7.
How are you? Today's my last day, and I just wanted to call and say thank you for 9 years of busting my chops on the air and all of the nice and bad things you've said. But you're not a man in this town until you've been ripped by Neil Rogers. So.
Hey, boy, what's that in your mouth?
Exactly.
We're not talking about women.
So you're going over to Channel 4 to do what, Brian? The same thing we're doing at 7?
Actually, I'm leaving in 2 weeks for CBS News in New York. I'm going to be
I didn't
working.
know that.
Yeah, I'm going to be working for the network during my non-compete.
Well, wait a minute. When did this happen? I thought I read a thing where you were going over to, I see, Channel 4, but not locally. In other words, the big time, the network.
Well, it's an interesting deal. So to get me to go to CBS, I'm actually going to do stuff for the network, their newscast service, and then I'm going to.
Now, Brian, are you doing like Are you doing like a radio voice now? I mean, or a TV voice? I mean, you know.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know, Neil. What do you want me to do? Talk like this?
Yeah, just talk like a guy. I mean, or close to it as you possibly can, Brian. Come on.
No, but actually, some friends of mine, all the Channel 7 photographers are huge fans of your show, and they said, Brian, it's your last day. You need to call Neil and say something. So I figured I'd call you and just say thanks.
Well, that's great. Now, we're going to be able to see you on the air. You're going to be behind the scenes. Are you going to be reporting? Are you going to be doing stuff? Doing people? What are you going to be doing?
Yeah, I'll be off the air for 6 months in Miami, but then I'll be back, and we're still working out the terms of what I'm going to be doing for Fourth when I get on the air there in November.
Oh, I see. So, in other words, I was right. You are, when you come back, you are going to be on 4.
When I come back to town, yeah, I'll be working with Channel 4.
Well, isn't that what I said in the beginning? And then you said, oh, no, I'm going to CBS in New York, Neil. Isn't that what he said?
Well, you know what? Let's hope, Neil. Let's hope that everything works out, and I'll be back here in 6 months.
So, in other words, maybe you won't be coming back. In other words, you're just kind of like covering your ass here and like hedging your bets, and that's fine. And good luck, you know.
Well, nonetheless, I just want to
maybe you'll be sitting right there on Dan Rather's shoulder one of these days. You never know it.
He's too old.
I would agree with that. Well, listen, best of luck, Brian, and say hi to all of our colleagues for us.
Likewise, and I'll let Bill Kamal know that you send your love.
Oh, yeah, give him a big kiss for us.
All right. Bye, Neil. Thanks again.
See you, Brian. that took care of that real quick.
Well, good for him.
Good for Brian, okay? He's okay. We have no problem with Brian Andrews. He's got a good sense of humor.
Sure.
And never stole a freight train, and we had a good time at the IOD. Brian Andrews, she was flitting around. And by the way, I forgot to tell Brian that Adam still ain't interested. 12 minutes after 11. Well, look, you know, we got some people that move up, and we're now. Hopefully, he'll do better than what's her name, that silly goose.
Michelle Gillen.
No, the one in the morning that laughs a lot.
Angela Ray.
Angela Ray. Hopefully, he'll do better than that, and you know, stick around if he winds up going up. Oh, brother, how many days she last in New York?
About 30, man.
Yeah, they're not too big on a hyena deal up there. Now all the faxes are just pouring in. In fact, some of them like twice and 3 times. I guess you're trying to make up for,
I only
over and over
faxed them once again, one extra time.
Well, maybe my machine's just trying to compensate for something. 12 minutes after 11 at 560 WQM. Is your company suffering from regulations that increase labor costs?
Yes.
Let Oasis Outsourcing help when it comes to the people side of your business. Payroll administration, Fortune 500 company employee benefits, human resource services, and risk management are just a few of the services Oasis Outsourcing can cover to help your business be more profitable. Call Oasis Outsourcing today for a free evaluation at 1-866-AT-OASIS. That's 1-866-286-2747. With more than 60,000 employees worldwide, Oasis Outsourcing understands the many facets of human resource management. Outsourcing is being recognized by firms large and small as a powerful management choice, which lets you focus on your core business while leaving the operational details to these folks at Oasis Outsourcing. So let Oasis Outsourcing make your business more profitable. For a free evaluation, call them at 1-866-AT-OASIS. That's 1-866-286-2747 for Oasis Outsourcing.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Friday, you bastard.
They invade your privacy.
You've just won a timeshare vacation at Immokalee Resorts.
They interrupt your meal.
This is the Police Benevolent Association. Really, we're really affiliated with that. We even have bumper stickers.
They're hated more than Bin Laden or his close friend Bush. They are telemarketers. And since they found their way around call blocking with fake phone numbers, it seems there's no escape. But now there's help with the new Telemarketing Defense Manual. This easy-to-use guide provides inventive new ways to fight back against these telemarketing terrorists, like the gay twister.
Hello?
Is this the Ignat Bombard home?
Who is this?
Mr. Bombardnik, have you heard about our...
You sound hot.
Huh?
Have you ever had a man before?
Oh, Mr. Bombardnik, I'm calling to tell you about...
Are you a bottom or a top? Learn how to use your phone as a weapon with the feedback method by simply holding your handset over the mic of your speakerphone.
Hello.
Hello. I'd like to tell you about our new carpet cleaning service. I think you'll be amazed. Hey! Ow!
Yes, now you can wage your own private war against the scourge of telemarketing with the Telemarketing Defense Manual. To get your copy, one of our friendly account executives will be contacting you soon.
Hello.
Hello. Can I interest you in the Telemarketing Defense Manual?
11:18 at 560 WQAM. Was it me or was Dave Johnson a little off his feed today, huh? Did it seem like it?
I don't know. What do you mean?
He just wasn't his usual bubbly self. Maybe he's having a bad day this week at Churchill Downs. Wouldn't be the first time.
That could be.
Or maybe Hank took some of his lunch. Anyway, and then of course Brian Andrews, that was a real out of nowhere, out of the blue. Under the radar radio. No, seriously, it's a good thing you refaxed this to me because this is a muy importante story. And in fact, it was so important I went online and I got the whole story since you only faxed me the first page. Right. And I can actually read these pages, you know, from Newsweek magazine, Under the Radar Radio. This is, see, if you wanted to really piss me off, between the Herald story about Big 106 and then the thing about that Sinclair Broadcasting censoring Ted Koppel on their 7 ABC stations, and then this, it's just, I mean, is there no justice?
No.
What the hell is the story? I'm beginning to think that for justice, we got to go to
Don Corleone.
And that's it. That's the only choice we got.
See.
Because this is a pile of crap is what this is. Anyway, before we do that, some more choices for the poll here. Ralph Nader and Albert Einstein.
Right.
This is not related. No, I don't think so. Also, we had some other ones here, too. Miss Jack Horkheimer.
Oh, yeah.
All the ladies are making a big splash. I beg your pardon?
Nothing.
Here's one. It says, my vote was for Marv Albert. Are you aware that your lady, what is that? I can't read
The lady
that.
behind the beaded curtain.
Was one of the ladies who accused Bill Clinton of fondling her when she was in Arkansas, says Devin. I wasn't aware of that.
I was.
Well, there you go. There's all the more reason to take a peek at her. Well, I got copies and copies of that one. It must have been a very important fact, more important than I realized, because you sent me about
30, man.
Copies of that fax. Anyway, what we got going here on the poll so far? Donald Trump, can't touch him, 134. Which of these people has the worst looking hair? Real, fake, whatever, dead or alive? Mo Howard David at second, though, 57, not even half. Don King, 41. Sam Donaldson, 38. Jim Trafficant, 23. Gene Katie has got 9. I don't know who that is. Don't tell me again. Marv Albert, 7. Ted Koppel, 6. Dennis Kucinich, 5. Howard Cosell, 4. Matt Lauer, 3. Denise Rodman, 2. Condoleezza's got a pair of nasty front teeth. Trent Lott, 1. Brian Grant's got 1. Miss Kamal's got 1. Aaron Brown, out of 334. We just can't get one for poor Aaron Brown. Somebody please vote for Aaron Brown. He's going to feel left out. Now,
no.
Get into this story. No, this is really depressing. While the FCC cracks down on Howard Stern, Hispanic shock jocks are as raunchy as ever so far, says Newsweek. It was the eve of Good Friday. This is the May 3rd issue, by the way, of Newsweek. And it's got pictures here of shock jocks Enrique Santos and Joe Ferrero. It was the eve of Good Friday, and the Miami radio shock jocks Enrique Santos and Joe Ferrero were toning down their act out of respect for the holiday and for station WXDJ's new list of 21 prohibited words and phrases describing sexual and excretory acts. So all that listeners got to leave, what was that? Got to 11 their morning commute. Boy, that's pretty weak. Was a caller who couldn't sleep because of a neighbor's loud orgasms, a song about a cheating husband whose wife cut off one of his testicles, and some sound bites of what everyone assumes was Fidel Castro bellowing about homosexuals and vaginas. We don't want to upset listeners, says Ferraro, but we're getting paid to entertain and do crazy stuff. How are they still getting away with it? In part because the boundaries are permissible radio raunch are so hard to define, but also because Santos and Ferrero are lucky enough to be broadcasting in Espanol.
Increíble.
In Spanish.
Increíble.
Spanish language shock jocks seem to have a de facto grant of immunity from the FCC. And does that frost my fat ass or what?
Yes.
Only one of its 20 staff investigators speaks Spanish, and none of the 9 radio and TV stations fined in the last 15 months for violating the agency's indecency standards was a Spanish language broadcaster. After Janet Jackson's Super Bowl breast-bearing stunt, the FCC and its unctuous chairman, Michael Powell, began cracking down on the likes of Howard Stern, whose talk show has been dropped by 6 of the radio giant Clear Channel's stations. This month, Clear Channel was fined $495,000 for his Blue Tinge broadcast and has agreed to pay $755,000 for similar trespasses by Bubba the Love Sponge. Now, some Hispanic media watchdogs accuse the agency of neglecting their community segment of the industry, which has grown from 347 Spanish-language radio stations in 1993 to 626 last year. The enforcement level at the FCC has been very faulty, says Marta Garcia, a Puerto Rican-American who sits on the board of the National Hispanic Media Coalition. They've turned a deaf ear. Not entirely. In 2001 and 2, the Commission did assess fines against 4 Spanish-language radio and TV stations for gags about anal and oral intercourse and a skit about sex toys. But critics ridiculed the fines, which ranged from $7,000 to $22,400 for the owner of a radio station in New Bedford, Mass., as pocket change for such huge companies as Miami-based Telemundo. Give me a break, says Alex Nogales, the NHMC's Mexican-American president. I'm glad they did it, but these fines are nothing. Nada. The FCC is currently reviewing complaints against 2 Spanish-language stations, one of them, WXDJ, where Ferrero and Santos, U.S.-born Cuban-Americans, achieved instant celebrity last year when they placed prank calls that lured both Castro and Venezuela's President Hugo Chavez onto El Vacilón de la Mañana. What else, Vacilón?
Vacilón, it's a good thing.
I see.
An easy good
The
thing.
morning blast is what it says.
Yeah, something like that.
The FCC says that when it gets complaints, it acts accordingly. Powell is trying to find someone in Spanish-language TV or radio to make an example of, says Santos, 29. It's like a witch hunt, and that's wrong and offensive. Right. Nobody's trying to make an example out of anybody else. Right, Senor Santos. Not to mention difficult, defining what constitutes a dirty word in Spanish can present special challenges. The FCC's litmus test for obscene speech relies on contemporary community standards, but in Miami or New York, Latin immigrants come from several different countries. In much of Latin America, the word bicho means simply bug, while in Puerto Rico, it's slang for penis. When a shock uses the word, I better not say that. Does it mean take a hold of, as it does in Madrid, or is it vulgarism for copulating, as it is in Buenos Aires? Well, 3 guesses, it says. But where there's a will, there's a way. Powell clearly has the will. If he hires some Spanish-speaking agents for his free speech or obscenity border patrol, they could find a way. And the shock jocks, of course, will find workarounds so the drive-time audience won't mistake El Vacilón de la Mañana for Morning Edition in Espanol. What's the Spanish for this too shall pass, it says. Right. Very syrupy, very like, oh yeah. Ain't a cutesy, all that other crap. Of course, they did get fined, what, about $4,000?
$4,000.
Which they collected in pennies because everything's a big joke to these guys.
Oh, yeah, that, we get the listeners donating pennies. We got 400,000 pennies that they pay the fine.
That was a big news story on I forget what local channel.
Oh, I know.
Last night.
We mentioned it in brief passing the other day, but it's hardly a big news story. But the fact of the matter is that it's like everything else in South Florida. We got one set of standards, one set of laws for everybody else, and then we have one set of laws and standards for people who don't speak English. It's almost like a reward for people too lazy to speak English. And, of course, that's probably one of the reasons, I don't want to make no excuses, that's probably one of the reasons at CMQ-FM, because I'm sure that Guillermo Schwartz, or whatever his name is on there, from noon to 2, he don't have any restrictions on what he says. I don't know.
And his act, I know his act is blue, so I don't know what he's doing on the air.
How are you spelling that?
B-L-U.
I heard it blue. But at any rate, so there's the deal. We got one set of standards so far. Now, if some people will get, down to business and start making complaints against people who speak in Spanish, then we can, even the level of the playing field, because that's the way it should be. If we all got to find out if there's rules for, which I don't agree with any of them, of course. Everybody knows that. I think it's a bunch of crap. We ought to be able to say whatever we want, any language. But if there's going to be a set of guidelines for what we can say as best we can discern what they are, then everybody should have to play by the same rules. Am I right?
Incredible.
Absolutely. 26 past 11 at 560 WQAM. Don't forget, as Dave Johnson told you, we got the big derby coming up for tomorrow. And if you want to plunge your guts on it, Pompano Park will be simulcasting the Run for the Roses, the 130th running of the Kentucky Derby from Churchill Downs. You can watch and wager on the world's greatest horse race right at Pompano Park tomorrow. In fact, there will be early bird wagering on a derby starting at 1 o'clock today, and for both days, Pompano Park will have free past performance pages for the Kentucky Derby field. Tomorrow it's closing night in the Top of the Park restaurant, so I guess Fat Rich will probably have 3 feedings, wouldn't you think?
5.
And the special dining room will open extra early at 4:30 p.m. There will also be mint juleps, the official drink of the Kentucky Derby, on sale in a special souvenir glass. Located just a half a mile from both I-95 and the Turnpike, Pompano Park's easy to get to, and best of all, they feature free admission, free general parking every day. And, of course, live harness racing in the poker room every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Like tonight, poker starts at noon, goes on till midnight, and live racing gets underway nightly at 7:05, including tonight. Pompano Park also for simulcasting open every day, 7 days and nights a week, featuring the best in harness, thoroughbred highlight action from all across North America for you to watch and plunge your guts on. Pompano Park, a block south of Atlantic Boulevard on Powerline Road. For the current race schedule, just go online at pompanopark.com or call 954-972-2000. Don't forget, you can start plunging on early bird wagering on the Derby, early bird no less, at 1 o'clock this afternoon. See it and bet it tomorrow at Pompano Park.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Sit and watch the TV with a finger up their butt. Whoa, I'd love to know what Christians do for fun. Bible in the corner while fondling their nuts. Whoa, I'd love to know what Christians do for fun. Poster white and pasty from the fast food they eat. Inhaling bags of macaroni and cheese. Gun holes in the bed sheet just in case they reproduce. That's just about all they're allowed to do. I'd love to know. Ooh, I'd love to know. Do they get a swollen pud while cleaning out their gun? Whoa, I'd love to know what Christians do for fun. Do they polish up the fish on the tailgate of their truck? Whoa, I'd love to know what Christians do for fun. Sit and stand and eat and sit back down again and chew. Then wash it all down with a 12-pack of fruit. Live a life of boredom, up to heaven you'll go. God only smiles upon boring assholes. I'd love to know. Yeah, I'd love to know.
How about that, huh?
I dumped it.
So did I.
Okay.
So did Josh.
How about you, Soldier Boy? That's happened.
Oh, I thought that was a pretty innocuous bit, but every now and then it's just one of those. I mean, I'm just sitting here paying almost no attention because I'm just very comfortable with that thing. There are a couple of, but then we get to that hole, and then you got real problems there, man. You got that black hole out there in the universe somewhere. And probably before too long, we won't be able to say that either. A couple of faxes here. Let's see. At Democrats.org, check out the right-hand side of the page about halfway down. The Bush record in your state, it says it is positively
unbelievable,
says Steve. Thank you, Steve. Also, an article from the San Diego Union Tribune that somebody faxed to us. Vice President Dick Cheney has been charging that John Kerry would be a dangerous president because he opposed many key weapons that the military now relies on. Himself presided over the biggest cutbacks in defense programs in modern history when he was Secretary of Defense under the first President Bush. As Pentagon chief from 89 to 93, Cheney canceled or cut back many of the same weapons programs, bombers, fighter planes, battle tanks, that he says Kerry tried to deprive the armed forces of. And it goes on with detail and the specifics. San Diego Union Tribune, if you're interested. And also, Charles and Deerfield Beach writes, I think anyone who watched Frontline's documentary, The Jesus Factor, last night will have to agree that our president-select is definitely one scary son of a Bush. I guess it's not bad enough that each morning those of us who just want to live our lives as best we can awaken to the thought that there's a religious fanatic out there who wants to destroy our country, our culture, our lifestyle, and in a nutshell, us. And now we've also got to worry about Osama bin Laden. It's the battle of the religious nuts, Charlie. He says, I don't know about you, but getting caught in the middle of a religious war was not how I had planned to kick off the new millennium. Frankly, it wouldn't surprise me to hear George Bush calling for another constitutional amendment to change our national anthem from the Star-Spangled Banner to Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition, is what Charlie says. Just hang in there, Charlie. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Once they start getting desperate, then it gets really bad. You know what I mean? As the poll numbers start really dropping.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
That would be my best advice to everybody. Anyway, which of these people's got the worst looking hair, real or make-believe? You know what I mean by make-believe?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Dead or alive. Donald Trump, 157. Mo Howard David, 66. Don King, 50. Sam Donaldson, 41. Did somebody vote? Aaron Brown, still don't have any. Please, come on. Ralph Nader don't have any. Einstein, none. And Ms. Horkheimer don't have any either out of 393 votes. Come on, vote for Aaron Brown, will you?
No.
Okay. Bremer criticized Bush on terrorism before attacks. Did you see this story?
No.
Well, you should. From the A&P. L. Paul Bremer, the U.S. administrator in Iraq, said in a speech 6 months before the 9/11 attacks that the Bush administration was paying no attention to terrorism. This is Paul Bremer. You see, how could anybody be so stupid? I mean, Richard Clark, a Republican. John Dean, a Republican. There's just a whole long list of these people who have been saying all of these things. What they will do is stagger along until there's a major incident and then suddenly say, oh my God, shouldn't we be organized to deal with this, said Bremer at the McCormick Tribune Foundation Conference on Terrorism, February 26, 2001. Bremer spoke at the conference shortly after he chaired the National Commission on Terrorism, a bipartisan body formed by the Clinton administration to examine U.S. counterterrorism policies. The remarks drew attention on the same day that Bush and Dick Cheney appeared before the 9/11 Commission to explain the precautions they took to prevent a terrorist attack after taking office in January 2001. White House spokesman Scott McClellan did not comment on Bremer's remarks directly, but he said, the actions we took prior to 9/11 demonstrate that we took the terrorist threat seriously. The first major foreign policy directive was a comprehensive aggressive strategy to eliminate al-Qaeda. At the speech delivered in Wheaton, Illinois, Bremer, whose diplomatic jobs included a stint as ambassador-at-large for counterterrorism, said a war against terrorism would be unending. If you call it a war, you suggest there's a victory. He said, I would argue there is no final victory in a war against terrorism. Yada, yada, yada. Poor Ted Koppel, huh?
Yeah, and he's got that hair problem.
He's got the bad hair. He's got the Sinclair Broadcast Group that won't televise his show tonight on their 7 ABC affiliates because he's going to be reading the names of all the American soldiers killed in Iraq and showing their pictures. I mean, you talk about a desperate attempt to manipulate the public opinion. And, of course, it's you watch these numbers keep eroding and going down. It's getting in. This is only a May, keep in mind. Tomorrow's May number 1. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got one for your poll.
Okay.
You remember this old Jew with a really nasty mop?
Oi!
I think he used to be on Hollywood Squares. Was that Maury Amsterdam? Or
that's the guy.
With a big, ugly mop on his head?
That's the guy.
Or he used to perform at the Diplomat all the time?
Right. Maury Amsterdam. He also did the first Tonight Show before Steve Allen.
Right, exactly. He had a mop on him, didn't he?
Have a great day. Oh, and guess who else we left off of there? Marty Allen. We were just talking about him the other day.
No.
Alan Rossi, right?
Okay.
And what's the real freaky guy with the oh man, who am I thinking of? Huh? Not Freaky Carlos. The guy with the from the Frankenstein movie. I can't believe I got a brain fart on him.
Marty Feldman?
Marty Feldman. He's got a lovely do.
Sure. You can't tell because of his eyes. You're fixated on those.
Is that it? 5670560, pound 560. So much bad hair in so little time. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Been an atheist most of my life, but if there is such a thing as a God.
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir.
If there is such thing as God, Michael Jackson will spend the rest of his life in jail.
For about 2 weeks till his life ends.
Yeah. Also, I saw Hank one night in Rascal House. He's very large.
Yes, he is.
All right, have a great day.
He's a giant industry. Thank you. There's a bulletin for you. Hank is large, okay? You following that?
He's big and his numbers are too.
Right. Number 1 in the afternoon, the Humper, baby. He is big. Mad Dog and Humper, number 1 in afternoon drive. We're either number 1 or 2. We still haven't figured it out. I would have thought by now that thanks to all their connections, with Tanner, since we are in the Tanner building, we'd have been able to extrapolate that midday thing. Doesn't Matty Bell usually come racing up there? Oh, here you go. We got here's Tanner.
Yeah, but never like the next day.
Oh, yeah. You're wrong.
All right.
We usually get it by hook or by crook from either from Miss Tanner or one of those queens, one of those people.
By hooker.
By hooker, and no hookers with that lady. Speaking of that, I better do the break, and then we get secret evidence that got Jacko indicted. And he showed up for his arraignment. In fact, there it is right now.
Picture.
Not waving that magic wand right over his
rectum. This is what Michael Jackson says. They want to show a guilty conscience. They want to show that Michael Jackson and his people were trying to keep this family under wraps and ultimately get this family out of the country. And this alleged Brazil trip, which was supposed to have happened a year ago in January but didn't, is something that they have really been focusing on, where Frank Tyson and Vinny Amen were going to take this family out of the country. Frank Tyson told me on the phone he was planning on doing it, but only for 3.
You see, when he changes lawyers like that in midstream right here just before the arraignment, and when he says his life is on the line, what does that tell you? Does that smell really of tremendous guilt of knowing that his ass is going to jail? Is that what?
Yes. The crawl there, the lawyers are saying they quit, and he's saying that he fired them. So,
right.
Who do you believe?
Let's take a poll on it. 20 till noon at 560 QAM.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Go.
Trump. For Donald Trump. You like a Trump. Working for Trump. You bust your home. Working for Trump. You're making Trump. Working for Trump. Wow. Trump.
He's kicking ass, I'll tell you that. 163 votes, the worst hair in the human race. Mo Howard David at second with 70. I mean, a gigantic lead. And nobody voted. Yes, they did. Two people voted for Aaron Brown. Thank you. I just felt bad for him. He's such a nebbish to begin with, you know. He's got a pair. This fax you send me, it just leaves me to wonder if anybody's really paying attention to all the things I've been saying the last couple of months.
No one is.
Dave the cop.
Right.
Don't you find this just unbelievable?
Typical.
Speaking of Ms. Kamal, I seem to be having withdrawal symptoms. How about Freeway and Spigot for old time's sake? Thanks a lot. I mean, you must be doing serious mushrooms, man.
Everywhere I go, they either don't believe it or they think that we, like you, me, we're overreacting.
Right.
They haven't seen overreacting.
No. Come inside our building, okay, and watch people doing cartwheels in the hallways and just hyperventilating and spitting blood. Then you'll understand what overreacting is all about. Gotta be kidding me. We won't hear Freeway and Spigot no more, I guarantee you that.
Probably ever.
That is correct. Secret evidence that got Jacko indicted according to the National Enquirer. Contents of briefcase all the grand jury needed. A briefcase containing pornography hidden away in Michael Jackson's bathroom was among the bombshell pieces of evidence that convinced grand jurors to indict the pop star on child molestation charges, the Enquirers learned exclusively. During a raid on Jackson's Neverland Ranch last November, police needed a locksmith to open the door to the master bedroom where the pornography was found, and prosecutors told the grand jury that the 45-year-old superstar used the porn to arouse the now 14-year-old boy who's accused Jackson of molesting him and plying him with booze in early 2003. One of the key pieces of circumstantial evidence presented to the grand jury was a briefcase that Santa Barbara Sheriff's investigators found during the search of Jackson's Neverland Ranch. A source close to the top-secret proceedings told the Enquirer it was hidden away in Jackson's bathroom and filled with porno magazines. It was established to the grand jury that this indeed belonged to Michael Jackson. Jackson allegedly used the pornography that he kept inside the briefcase to excite his young victim. Incredibly, during the raid on Neverland, police seized the black leather briefcase in the exact spot where the young victim had told police Jackson kept it. One of the magazines police confiscated was Barely Legal, an adult magazine put out by hustler publisher Larry Flint, featuring adult women dressed in sexy young outfits to make them look like teenagers. Police believe Jackson showed the Barely Legal magazine to the victim to excite him. Other items found in the master bathroom include a laptop computer stored inside a locked closet and a digital camera. In the raid, police also seized 16 computers, at least 20 videotapes and DVDs. During the grand jury proceedings, it was revealed that the accuser and his younger brother, who witnessed some of the incidents, told police and psychologist Stan Katz that Jackson used over-the-counter cold medicine and wine to knock out and molest the children. It wasn't wine, it was Jesus juice, wasn't it?
That's right. Freshly squeezed.
Get it right. The boys also said Jackson watched TV naked in front of them and even fondled a mannequin in their presence. The boys also reportedly told their therapist that Jackson gave them a laptop computer so they could surf the internet for naked women. Among the witnesses who gave testimony to the grand jury during its 13-day inquiry were the accuser and his brother, his mother, psychologist Katz, and the family's attorneys Larry Feldman and William Dickerman. William Feldman and testified that the alleged crimes took place, that after they took place, the Jackson camp tried to intimidate the boy and his family with threats, took the family's belongings, and even attempted to relocate them to Brazil, an insider revealed. The Enquirer learned that another potentially crucial witness did not testify before the grand jury, the boy who made claims about sexual molestation by Jackson in 93 and got a $15 million buyout, payoff, hush money. The boy wants to testify only once, and the prosecutors are saving him for the trial itself, said the insider. They'll bring him out if they feel they need him. He's a reluctant witness for them. The boy's uncle, Raymond Chandler, told the Enquirer when he does appear in court, it'll finally give my nephew a chance to set the record straight. Michael would like to say that my nephew's charges were an extortion plot, a fabrication. What the public doesn't know about the settlement with Jackson is that my family was ready, willing, and able to assist the DA right up until that time, until the price was right. By obtaining a grand jury indictment against Jackson, Santa Barbara District Attorney Tom Sten is able to proceed directly to trial without laying out his evidence in a public preliminary hearing or subjecting his witnesses to cross-examined by defense attorneys. The trial could begin in December. If convicted, Jackson, who has maintained his innocence, faces up to 20 years in a slammer.
Oh!
It's going to be a lot of fun in there, Michael. Oh! Yeah. In the joint. Then on the bottom, they're patting themselves on the back. The Inquirer. New developments in Jackson case. Old hat to Inquirer readers. Which is true. They've been doing a good job on this. Accuser's mom is pregnant, by the way. Yeah. The Inquirer's learned exclusively that the mother of Jackson's accuser is pregnant, and the father is Army Reserve Major J. Jackson, 41, who took in the 35-year-old woman and her 3 children last year. For a time, the family was living in grim conditions in East L.A., but they made a decided turn for the better, an insider disclosed. The alleged victim, who was desperately ill and in dire need of a kidney transplant following cancer treatment, has improved greatly. He's 14 now. The cancer's in remission. He's healthy and robust, pursuing his education and engaged in sports. And since the mothers found love with Major Jackson, the family, including the alleged victim's younger brother and older sister, have moved to a spacious condo in West L.A. But the family's been trying to keep the pregnancy under wraps. The Inquirer says, forget about that. We know it. We're going to print it. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, have you got Burt Reynolds on your list yet?
We do now. How could we forget?
Okay.
Thanks. Burt Reynolds, man, and there's a guy that's really, you can tell, very vain about it, too. Why doesn't he just walk around without the piece?
Well,
he's got much to hide, I guess.
What's all their excuses?
Right. Vanity. Give me a guy like Yul Brynner. Right?
All right, I got one right here.
56705. Yeah, we got one. He's called the Beast. Not quite that rotund. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon. Can I say the Beast is shaving it? His head.
His life.
Oh, that's even worse. Keep your finger real tight there, man.
I'm telling you.
Just be lean. Don't be getting...
You're going to subject us to another lecture if you keep this up.
Oh, I'm sorry. WQAM, hello.
So boring with the post.
WQAM, hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir, ma'am.
Hi, how are you, Neil?
Pretty good.
Neil, I got somebody that should squirt to the top of your pole.
Okay.
Okay.
Careful.
It's Rick Dudley.
Yeah, Rick Dudley's got a nasty piece. Plus, he was a really crappy coach, which he ain't no more, yeah.
You know what that looks
he
like?
He put the dud in Dudley.
Yeah. He looks like an electrified possum. That's what it looks like.
He'd probably be telling everybody, oh, I'm the guy that made the Lightning what they are today, after they swept Montreal last night.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, Neil, you have a good one, okay?
You too, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
He put the Dudmeister. Real piece of turd, man. Oh, but send them their money for next season, even if they don't play. Send in a lot of money to the Panther organization. They need it real badly. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon line. WQAM, hello.
Morning, Neil.
Good morning, sir.
I'd like to add one to your poll.
Okay.
George Rodriguez definitely has the gay hair.
WQAM, hello.
WQAM?
Yes, sir.
Mine's not a man. There you go.
There we go. There we go again.
Taylor.
Who is it?
Rip Taylor.
Rip Taylor. Yeah, he's a piece of work. He's been on several polls this week, as a matter of fact. Rip Taylor. Does he actually show up anymore on anything, or is he like 100 years old?
I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, let's Rip Taylor.
Liz?
Donald Trump, 168. Mo Howard David at a strong second.
Absolutely.
74. Don King, 59. Sam Donaldson, 48. Jim Traficant, 29. The others are all like minor leaguers so far. Oh, there's El Presidente.
Danger of terror.
Yeah, it's dangerous, all right, when we see him. That show on PBS last night, on Frontline. Like I said, it wasn't like spectacular because most of us already knew all of that stuff, but it just reinforces this whole goody two-shoes, born-again, mindless, babbling crap, and I'm starting to really think that he believes it. That's the worst part.
Yeah, I think.
Before I thought it was just an act.
Me too.
Just, like a lot of the AA people. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That guy who was all whipped up about that Bill, what was his name with the 12 steps?
I don't know.
Bill Stillman. Bill, I got a still in the basement. Come on down and drink some Jesus juice. The 12 steps program. And, of course, without Jesus, we couldn't have the 12 steps, could we?
No.
So there you go.
Or the 12 apostles.
Exactly. All of these things. Oh, speaking of famous people, this is what we're going to do. We can't go back to the all of that racy language anymore, that stuff that was right around the edges there. We have to back away 15 yards and punt. But we can start playing some really heavy-duty music.
Yeah.
Because that evidently is the secret over there. You know what? Whatever that station is, CMQ. The late salsa queen Celia Cruz and crossdresser star Ricky Martin lead the finalists, while divas Alicia Keys and Gloria Estefan headline the performers. At, what is this? This is yesterday? Did this take place last night, or is this next Thursday?
Must be asking you, Josh.
Well, this is your people. Wow. Oh, by the way, Ferrero station in Atlanta came in last. You know the station Scott Ferrella's on in Atlanta, that FM with 8 million watts?
I'm trying to digest that. I didn't know that.
It came in dead last. Yeah, Muff told me. She said it came in last. How do you like that? Aren't you surprised? Aren't you shocked?
Yeah, and dismayed.
Yeah. Cruz, who died last July, who couldn't sing a lick. Oh, in fact, here's a picture of Celia Cruz. Maybe this was last night. I don't know. Boy, see, this is what happens when you're out of touch. I didn't see Tom Zicker write anything about this or talk about an Eddie K show last night. Cruz, who died last July, is nominated 7 times. Well, shouldn't there be a big piece if this was last night? It says at Thursday's Billboard Latin Music Awards, this was in yesterday's Sun Sentinel. Couldn't possibly be. It would have been splashed all over the front pages of your local papers, wouldn't it?
You'd think.
Right next to that thing about Big 106 is doing just fine without the Sternmeister.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
This is Pope John Paul Lind, and if you ask me, the only thing more fun than playing grab ass with a Swiss guard is the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour. Oh.
Talk to me, tell me your name. You blow me off like it's all the same. You lay that dirt and I'm taking away like a bomb. Yeah, baby. She bangs, oh baby. When she moves, I go crazy cause she looks like a clown, but she stings like a bee. Like every girl in history. She bangs,
You know, it's a good thing I checked this out. Unseen Celia's Brightest Latin Star. Sure enough, it was last night.
Okay.
And we almost missed out on all the excitement here. In fact, the Herald, and we better double check it because if it's in the Herald, it's probably wrong. They probably just made it up. Here's a picture. It says Latin music lovers. Julio Iglesias Jr. pauses for a photo with a fan Thursday night before the Billboard Latin Music Awards, televised live for the first time. You didn't even watch it?
Watch what?
Shame on you, man. The mood was informal and upbeat at the Miami Arena. It's the work of Celia Cruz, Ricky Martin, and Juanes, and a few newcomers won honors. And it's a picture of Julio Iglesias Jr., and I'm going to tell you, she floats like a butterfly. She makes Enrique look like Hercules.
Oh, that's an indictment.
That is quite a comment. Although she ain't nearly so pretty as Enrique, but that's another story for another day. Celia Cruz, Ricky Martin, and Juanes won triple honors. And the article says, by Jordan Levin, who hopefully knows a little bit more than Howard Cohen. I wonder if the Herald knows they have so many Jews on their staff. One of the biggest winners among stars competing at last night's Billboard Latin Music Awards was the one already in musical heaven, Celia Cruz, the beloved Cuban queen of salsa. Oh, there's so many Cuban queens. But this is the beloved Cuban queen of salsa who passed away last July, garnered 3 awards. You've probably known a few Cuban queens in your time.
Well, we got one working here.
It was the number matched only by Puerto Rican pop star Ricky Martin and Colombian rocker Juanes. I mean, the fact that Celia Cruz and Ricky Martin won most of the awards is a pretty good indication that Latin music is in the crapper. Although she was... Oh, and speaking of crapper, the rumor I'm hearing is that South Beach, everybody's bailing out.
Yeah, I hadn't heard.
Yeah, all the rappers have moved in and all the other people are moving out. What a strange phenomenon that is, you know. That's what I'm hearing. Although she wasn't physically there, Cruz provided one of the most emotional moments in the awards' first live broadcast on Spanish-language network Telemundo. The audience stood to applaud as Cruz's husband, Pedro Knight, accepted her award for Top Latin Album, Artist of the Year. And one of the best musical moments was when Oscar de Leon joined a talented teenage orchestra from the Harbor Conservatory for the Performing Arts in an electrifying rendition of Cruz's last hit, Rie y Llora. Rie y Llora. What is that?
I don't know.
What?
Is it a name?
R-I-E with a acento on the I. Rie y Llora.
Oh, laugh and cry.
Esa negrita que va caminando
I bet you it sounded just like that.
Sure, something like that.
Another classic act, Mexico's Banda El Recodo, won the Hall of Fame award, was adept at both old and new, segueing from classic banda to a boogie down the ground number, complete with disco whoops. Whoops?
Whoops.
Paulina Rubio's dance pop and Luis Fonsi's Try to Rock anthem couldn't compare, it says. Curiously, the awards indicate a disconnect between the Latin music heard on the radio and the music that people buy. There was almost no overlap between album awards for sales and airplay awards for frequency of radio use. Presented by Billboard Magazine and Telemundo, the awards were based on the Billboard charts from February 15, 2003 and February 7, 2004. It's kind of like the English language thing, too. There's no connection between music that people like and they buy and what you hear on radio in South Florida, if you catch my drift. Established stars dominated. There were few surprises or new faces and little indication of new trends in Latin music. Judging from the charismatic performance by Chilean rockers La Ley, the show could have benefited from more new musical blood. The musical highlight was a powerful duet by guest trumpeter Arturo Sandoval and young American soul singer Alicia Keys. What is that? I don't understand. What does Alicia Keys have to do with the Latin Grammys?
I don't know, picking up a check?
Huh? How about Alicia Bridges? I wonder if she was there. Celia Cruz, well, I gotta play it sometimes, one we can still play. Celia Cruz won Top Latin Album of the Year and Tropical Album of the Year. Female for, oh boy, I guess they had to probably study that for quite some time to be sure. Female for Regalo de Alma, as well as Latin Greatest Hits Album of the Year for Hits Mix. Almas del Silencio, Martin's move from dance pop to soulful ballads, took Latin Pop Album of the Year. Male, again, check very closely, please. While the first single, Tal Vez, was honored as Hot Latin Track of the Year and the Latin Pop Airplay Track of the Year, male. Check it again. And it goes on at great length. So it was last night, and we haven't had any calls about it. They're probably all talking to Guillermo Schwartz about it now, right? Poor Guillermo, man. I think his days are numbered. Once he starts getting all those FCC fines, you'll see.
Well, he's pretty old anyway.
How old is he?
I don't know, 80 by now, I would imagine.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon line. WQAM, hello.
Yeah, I'd got a name for Neil's poll.
Yes, sir, speaking to him.
Oh, Neil, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, great one. Phyllis Diller.
Oh, she's a mess.
She is.
It's another one of them electric socket deals.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks, pal.
All right, pal.
Phyllis Diller, get around her. We don't have too many women on there, and there are many, many women with really bad hair. For example, I'll give you one. How come she ain't on there yet? Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay.
Can you get much worse hair than that?
No.
I don't think so. If you call that hair. What is that thing?
Those are...
Besides revolting.
Fat dreads.
I think those are deadlocks. WQAM, hello.
Chumba.
WQAM, hello.
Hey, Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got one for the poll.
Yeah.
All right. It's Pat Riley, and I'm gonna tell you why. 'Cause there is nothing worse than being a hair bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have another one for us, sweetheart. Man. It's only a couple minutes after noon. He's already deep.
Friday.
He's deep in the sack, man. I mean,
He's 2 hours
deep in
ahead
El
of me.
Sacco. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. He sure was slick, though, just like Pat Riley's here.
Yet.
WQAM, hello.
Yeah, name for your poll?
Yes, sir.
Richard Simmons?
Richie Simmons, she's got a bad do. Thank you. She's bad. In fact, you notice we're getting a lot of these people crossing over, so to speak. Where's Jonathan Edwards when we need him? Is that show off the air already, I hope?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I don't accidentally flop across that thing anymore, and I'm sure glad. Yeah. I think he maybe crossed over to the other side.
Yeah.
Run out of suckers.
Oh.
Maybe he's hanging out with Miss Cleo these days. Although at least Miss Cleo is kind of fun, you know. I like
She was
her.
funny.
Yeah. Get your free reading right now, man.
You might have
Get
to
your
play
free
that
reading.
bit.
Yeah. Do we have it? Can we play it?
Psychic, what's wrong with it?
What's it called?
Psychic?
No.
Yes?
That's not what it's called.
Okay.
It's not in here. Unless it's spelled wrong. PSY. Oh, Psychiatric Hotline? Not Psychic Negro Network.
That's the one.
Oh, we can't play that.
Why not?
Are you crazy?
Hello, this be Esther Roll. I played Florida on the hit show Good Times, and since my residuals ran out over 20 years ago, I've been helping other brothers and sisters find their way with the Psychic Negro Network. We welcome your calls, because nobody has a better understanding of black oppression. That's why you don't even need a credit card. It's just like renting your TV. We'll gladly bill it right to your phone. Negro Psychics are standing by right now at 1-900-GIVE-ME-YOUR-MONEY to take your call for the low price of only $7.99 a minute. Why, they can tell you if that van of yours is leaving, or if it already left, and if the ribs are going to be stringy or tender. So let the Psychic Negro Network guide you down the primrose path of bogus prophecy. Won't you call my friends?
Not bad. I give it about a 2.5 on a scale of 10, although I like Willie T. Ribs myself. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how about Slash from Guns N' Roses?
Okay, how about him?
He's got bad hair, man.
You got the worst. Okay, thank you. Slash, got him?
We got him.
Slash him. 2020 host apologizes for reality baby adoption show ads. ABC News star, your favorite, Barbara Wawa, apologized on the air this week after the network billed today's 2020 special about adoption as the ultimate reality show. Talked about this the other day, a disgrace, as usual. And I noticed that the Sinclair people didn't have any problem with that show that I've heard about.
No.
The news magazine's devoted to the story of a 16-year-old Ohio mother choosing among 5 sets of prospective adoptive parents who want to raise her baby. Walters, the show's host, is herself an adoptive parent who's frequently covered adoption issues. Last week, 2020 co-host John Stossel touted the program as the ultimate reality show. And over the weekend, ABC ran a promotion promising a unique television event, 5 couples desperate to adopt, all competing for her baby. The 2020 show focuses on open adoption, in which the birth family stays in contact with the child. The network pulled the promo teasing a competition and replaced it with a less sensational spot that bills an adoption unlike any you've ever seen. And on our program, The View Wednesday, Walters apologized for the promotions. Promos sometimes get a little heated, and we made a mistake, she told viewers. You know what the bad word was? Compete. Compete. Walters defended the program, which he called very important, extremely interesting. We've done many programs on adoption, say trademark for 2020, she said. Still, many critics contend that the network engaged in a tasteless stunt for ratings, and the ABC message board simmered with talk of an advertiser and viewer boycott of 2020. Well, they're a bunch of grave robbers like all of us in the business. That's just the way it goes, okay? So get used to it. I still can't believe that thing you're telling me. I mean, Stern is taken off the air in the market, right? Cheap Channel takes him off on all 6 stations. Just that alone hasn't convinced people that there's some real witch hunt crap, insanity going on now?
Yeah.
Well, what does it take?
Boxcars.
I see. Well, they're coming in next week. 12 minutes past noon at 560 WQM. Think about it. For a virtual company to succeed without any storefront locations means beating the competition every which way. That's what Dollar Mattress has been doing in South Florida for over 12 years. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you'll get better prices, better delivery times, better customer service, better everything. Dollar Mattress won the 2004 Better Business Bureau Local Torch Award for Excellence because they work harder than anybody else to earn your business before, during, and after the sale. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS and talk to one of their expert bedding consultants, you can rest assured you're getting the best possible mattress anywhere. Choose from a complete line of Sealy, Serta, Simmons, King Coil, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns, and Foster Hewitt. At 1-800-MATTRESS, you'll discover there's never an extra charge for same-day delivery either. Dollar Mattress takes same-day orders all day long from Kendall to Stewart, Palm Beach to Fort Myers. And keep in mind, when you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you pick the date and 2-hour delivery window you want that mattress delivered, and they actually show up. They're proud of that delivery record. On-time deliveries 99.7% of the time. Call them on time. You'll be a satisfied Dollar Mattress customer like I've been for years. Call that toll-free number, 1-800-MATTRESS. That's all it takes. Or log on to their website, mattress.com. Dollar Mattress, 1-800-MATTRES, the easiest possible way to buy you a great name-brand mattress at an unbeatable price.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAQAM.
Well, take me to a place where everyone's asleep and the president's below a retard. Where the only thing that's true is what you see on TV. Cause reading books is way too hard. Now back to the USSA. You shut your mouth and obey, boy. Back in the USSA. to fill my SUV, far from me to ever complain. I pledge my loyalty to Citibank and BP. That's the Saudi Pax American way. I'm back in the USSA. You shut your mouth and don't pay, boy.
I have no line.
Back in the USSA. Well, the Fox News girls really knocked me out. Those bleach blonde bins got the crew stamped down. The leftist views raise a question of doubt. And voters always show me where they got a lot of food to eat. Now is that is still allowed. I wanna fill my plate with potatoes and meat. And then I'm gonna sit back down. I'm back in the USSA. You shut your mouth and look me, boy. Back in the US.
McCain issued the following letter today to Mr. David Smith, President and CEO of Sinclair Broadcast Group, in response to the preemption of tonight's Nightline program. He said, I write to strongly protest your decision to instruct Sinclair's ABC affiliates to preempt this evening's Nightline program. I find deeply offensive Sinclair's objection to Nightline's intention to broadcast the names and photographs of Americans who gave their lives in service to our country in Iraq. I supported the President's decision to go to war in Iraq and remain a strong supporter of that decision, but every American has a responsibility to understand fully the terrible cost of war and the extraordinary sacrifices it requires of those brave men and women who volunteer to defend the rest of us. Lest we ever forget or grow insensitive to how grave a decision it is for our government to order Americans into combat. It's a solemn responsibility of elected officials to accept responsibility for our decision and its consequences, and with those who disseminate the news to ensure that Americans are fully informed of those consequences. There is no valid reason for Sinclair to shirk its responsibility in what I assume is a very misguided attempt to prevent your viewers from completely appreciating the extraordinary sacrifices made on their behalf by Americans serving in Iraq. War is an awful but sometimes necessary business. Your decision to deny your viewers an opportunity to be reminded of war's terrible cost and all their heartbreaking detail is a gross disservice to the public and to the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces. It is, in short, sir, unpatriotic. I hope it meets with public opprobrium, and it most certainly deserves. Good letter from John McCain. Now, it's really interesting to me. You know what I'm thinking when I'm reading this?
What are you thinking?
Who this letter should be from?
Oh.
Yeah. Herman Munster.
Funny.
Yeah. That's who the letter should be from. Not. I mean, John McCain, sure, he wrote a great letter, and he's got the balls, and of course, as a veteran, as a former POW, he certainly has the right to be doing this, to show everybody the grotesquerie. It's not just a made-for-TV kind of event.
You know, it was almost him until he got outspent.
I beg your pardon?
McCain. Remember those primaries when they $60 million and they buried him?
Oh, you mean in South Carolina where the Bush people smeared him and all that other crap?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that very well.
A war hero, and we got this guy.
Well, what about in Georgia? What about Max Cleveland? Talk about what's the use?
Cornish Telford.
When you're dealing with these single-minded right-wing lunatics, man, forget about reason because where there's no sense, there's no feeling. But what's going on in broadcasting in the most blatant and flagrant way? This, that article I read yesterday about the Nazis have taken over. I've been telling you that for months and months and months, for a long time. In fact, back when they stole the election in broad daylight. And here we are 3.5 years later, and people are starting to say, you know what, maybe there's something going on. A little bit slow on the uptake, boys, okay? A little bit slow. I mean, American Idol are real quick on that. Survivor, all of these things. The important stuff. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Pretty good, sir.
I just can't understand with the new 1400 sports talk show coming in, how excited we all are over that.
Oh, yeah.
But what I'd really like to know is, why don't they get rid of, since BGG, whatever it is, big has gone downhill, which I love every minute of it for getting rid of Howard.
This is the same drunk guy.
Why don't they get rid of Howard?
Is this your second call today, sir? Did you call us a little while ago?
No, I haven't called at all.
Okay. Well, it's George again, starting to hop on the callers right away.
Oh. Well, actually, what's George's format going to be now that he can't talk about eating?
Radio. But as far as hearing him on a commercial radio station in Miami, it ain't going to happen. Take it to the bank. How do I know? I know. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon. And by the way, George, govern yourself accordingly.
Oh, yeah.
WQAM, hello.
George?
No.
Yes.
Oh, I think they're talking about Rip Torn from Hollywood Squares.
No. Bruce V. Lanch.
Okay. Thanks.
Marty on. Okay, thanks. We got Rip Torn on there already, don't we?
Rip Taylor.
Oh, Rip Torn. That's who he meant, Rip Taylor. Everybody confuses that. Even I get sucked into that. Oops, sorry. Which of these people has the worst looking hair, real, fake, dead or alive? Them or the hair? Donald Trump, 185. He's off there by himself. I'm a little surprised at that, aren't you? Well, that's because he's all over the place now.
I voted for him.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Mo Howard David, who got my vote, because I've seen him. I've smelled it. 86. Don King, 69. Sam Donaldson, 51. Jim Traficant, 31. Condoleezza's got 15. Gene Katie's got 13. Marv Alpert, 12. Ted Koppel, 9. Appetite, this place is for you. It's the Emerald Coast Chinese Buffet, and the good news is that the Lobster Fest is back at Emerald Coast. If you've never been there, you don't know what a feast you're in for. The service is great, and you'll never leave there empty because they've got tons and tons, a sea of fresh, delicious goodies. And because it's spring with all the spring breakers out there, kids 6 and under eat for free. In addition, Emerald Coast still offers you all of their sensational mouth-watering dishes. And like I always tell you, they cook with only the best ingredients, no MSG, no cornstarch. They use only cholesterol-free oils. To make a long story short, no crap. Start out with 6 different kinds of soups, any or all of them if you like. Dozens of delicious mouth-watering entrees like New York strip made to order at their sizzling Asian grill, their brand new Hunan fish, Maine lobster thermidor style, Jonah crab, oysters on a half shell, hand-carved prime rib, and their new Thai specialties too. And don't forget, they got a full salad bar, a full Chinese food lineup, and their brand new sushi bar as well as fresh cocktail. What a team. And because you deserve it, and if you're a real porker man, if you got room at all, they got a dessert station too. The eating never stops. Belgian waffles, pies, cakes, pastries, ice cream with all your favorite toppings, fresh fruit as well. A real feast fit for a beast. Emerald Coast relocations for you, Pembroke Pines, Sunny Isles, and Sunrise. So take the whole family, or maybe book your next business luncheon right now. And don't forget when you're there to fill out a membership card so you can get their monthly newsletter from the Emerald Coast too. Let them cook up a storm for you. Takeout and delivery is always available at the Emerald Coast. Call them at 954-572-3822. 954-572-3822 for the amazing Emerald Coast Chinese Buffet.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio is all yours.
Geldy, talking on a sports show, trying to be macho. Your voice sounds just like a 7-year-old girl, a little sports hole shill. What else are you there for, Geldy? Geldy, talking like a baby who needs a little training. Why can't you understand? You don't sound like a man. Remove the rubber bands that choke your scrotum, Geldy. 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 Your lucky management don't care. 'Cause Geldy, you don't belong there on the air. And Geldy, the sports can wait till your voice cracks. 'Cause anyone who sounds like that should find another job.
Absolutely.
And they should only take you back when both your BBs drop. Oh, Geldy, Geldy, when you gonna grow up? You make us want to throw up. You silly squeaky poo. Go to broadcasting school. Your prepubescent voice makes you sound like a putz. You're a putz. You're a putz.
Absolutely.
You're a
12:33, speaking of Geldy, the reason I play that, he's got some big doings tonight, man. Join Geldy tonight. Steve Goldstein, 6 to 8 at the Quarter Deck at 12370 West Sunrise Boulevard in Plantation. I know we let him out by me. Stop by for specials on Amstel Light and register to win a trip for 2 to the Iceland Open Golf Tournament coming up in June at 6 tonight with Geldy at the Quarter Deck in Sunrise. I thought they shipped him right out there to the Mac Arena, where he's going to be practicing for doing the games next year when there's no games going on. Well, he can just practice all season. WQM Line 9, hello.
Hello, I don't want to go on the poll.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, so I did talk to Neil.
Speaking.
Neil Rogers?
Neil Rogers, that's me.
I have a suggestion for the poll, Merle Albert.
Merle Albert.
No, not Merle.
Marv?
Earl?
Marv Albert.
Marv Albert, yeah. He's on there. And have another one. Man, they're off to a good
Earl?
start today, man.
It's Friday.
Merle Albert.
I'm jealous.
Pearl Albert.
Start drinking, Josh.
I'm just taking a look how Marv is doing. Oh, Marty Allen's got one finally. How's Marv Albert doing? He's got a nasty piece, a really bad piece. He's got 12. He's doing really well. He's in double digits, man. You'll be pleased to know. In fact, just edged ahead of Ted Koppel only moments ago. Of course, if Ted were on all the stations, he might be doing better. 5670560. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore because nothing shocks the public. They sit back and they accept all of this crap, and it's like, well, like you say, they don't believe us. It's like we're exaggerating or it's being funny or, all this stuff about the FCC. I must just be making it up.
Sure, you guys are always exaggerating.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Got one for the poll.
All right.
How about Carrot Top?
Carrot Top, be bad, man.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that. Fat Rich called that in.
Or maybe,
thanks.
Oh,
Thanks a lot.
Fat Rich beat me to it. Damn it.
Oh, Fat Rich. He's always saying stuff that somebody else is always saying, You know what I mean? That's why we always say.
Fat Rich reminds me of my mother.
Right. Over and over again.
Not my mom.
5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Carrot Top. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got one for your poll.
Uh-huh.
James Trafficant from Ohio.
James Trafficant from Ohio?
Yes, sir.
You mean the one that's got,
He's locked up in one of the pens, I think.
He's got 34 votes.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
An honorable mention for yesterday, Preston Hen. It's where
Okay.
the rednecks are, at the swap shop.
Okay, thank you.
God bless.
That sounded like Rick Shaw, didn't it?
Sure did.
That was Rick Shaw.
Play the tape back.
Thanks a lot, Ricky Ticky. That was either Don Johnson or Rick Shaw. I'll guarantee you that right now.
Was that
nice hearing from you, Rick. I wonder how. I don't know what time he's on. That's embarrassing. I shouldn't say that. Do we know what time Rick Shaw's on Magic? You don't?
On Magic, yeah.
Well, wave your magic wand there, and just like Magic, we'll know what time he's on. Then I can look at that number in there. He's obviously not on at night, because that was the guy that got canned who was on at night.
I'd listen to Magic if they played some good oldies.
But don't blame him. That's that
Not his fault, I know.
that jackhole, that Bob, whatever his name is, the PD. What's his name?
Livingston.
No, whatever his name is. Bob Halloran. I don't know. Let's see. I don't even know what I'm looking. Well, midday. He's not on midday. We know that. Maybe Ricky Ticky's doing mornings on Magic. You think?
No, I try not to.
I don't think at his age he wants to get up that early in the morning. I'll take a look, though. How do they do? Magic 3-4 up to a 3-7. They're number 8. Beaten soundly by the Mo Man. Well, that's not good. Afternoons, men 25-54. That's not really their demo, though, is it? Isn't it persons 25-54, you would think? I don't have time to mess with that.
Persons 54 to 74.
4-4 down to a 4-1. That was Rick Shaw who gave us. Now, what did he give us? Oh, for yesterday, Preston's Hen. What the hell did we do yesterday?
Rednecks.
You should know that when you get this old. We did what?
Rednecks.
Oh, rednecks, Preston Hen, and what about Nick Navarro? There's a Cuban redneck for you if there ever was one. And those two are really tight, man.
Yeah.
Remember when they won that $1 million prize out there in Vegas, the jackpot and everything? Well, that pissed me off. Preston Hen's got more money than God, more money than the Bush family, more money than the Kennedys. And he goes out there with the unctuous Nick Navarro. How about for the bad hair, Nick Navarro? I fell into that. What about him?
That's right.
Now, I'm just curious if we can still play that, do you think we can?
Which one?
This.
He's going away,
Jeez,
Navarro. He's the cause of so much grief and sorrow. Yesterday, Navarro, he's leaving tomorrow, but he's just a goose step away.
Oh! Yeah, timely. All the goose stepping all the time. Maybe he was just practicing. Maybe he was a little Prussian. And he was practicing for these days now. Old Sheriff Nick. Now, that was Jim Schuyler did that thing, right?
Correct.
I'm pretty sure it was. Now, did you respond to Jim Schuyler?
No, I forgot. It's over here. It's in my
Oh, man, that's bad. Our good, close, personal friend Jim Schuyler that did so many bits, most of which we can still play, because he was a clean guy. He didn't put all this perversion and filth in there like that Bulk O'Brien, bald-headed geek. Right?
That degenerate.
Right. That slime bucket. See, there's all kinds of things that we can say. It's just we have to be a lot more creative now, that's all.
So we got another list.
You mean Monday? I see. Yeah, the Muffmeister, she's having a nervous breakdown. Boy, I guarantee she's popping some heavy-duty oxys and all kinds of other stuff right now. Just trying to keep up with this flood of insanity that keeps coming from corporate. At any rate, I'm just biting my tongue real hard. There's a little bit of blood right there on the tip of my tongue.
Mother.
21 till 2 till 1, whatever the hell it is, at 560 WQM. We got the Mad Dog at 2. And then we got Joe Zagacki at 4. Look at that.
Joe Zagacki sucks, okay?
Because the Humper obviously is up there in Louisville with Dave Johnson at the Kentucky Derby in Louisville. Then we got the big 7 till 9:40, and believe you me, that's more than enough. Marlins on deck 9:40 tonight from the West Coast. Marlins who beat, was it 4-3 last night, Josh?
Yes.
Marlins. You hear what he just said?
Yes.
He said yes.
Yes.
Will you stop doing that? Yes. You're not impressing us. You're depressing me. It's like I want to jump out the window. I mean, why do you stop doing that with the S's? He's gritting his teeth. I understand that the way things are going right now, it's enough to make you.
He's got his mouth wired shut like Michael in The Godfather.
Does he?
Yes.
Good. Well, with Duff around there, it's probably a pretty good idea.
McCluskey punched him in the mouth.
Marlins on deck 9:40. The Marlins at the Giants 10:15. The Marlins continue being hotter than hell as long as they don't play the Braves. And then overnight, it's total loss. 20 to, as a matter of fact, I think if he wants to give that 1400, give them that Sporting News. You know, do whatever you want with it. Get rid of it. Put something useful on there. Get Joe Costello back, right? Please. Get our good buddy Joe back on there on the overnight and get rid of that canned crap. No, but if there's one thing I try to tell you people for years, do not get that canned crap.
Get it in the bag, in the box.
Now, see, that was the end of that line.
Okay.
Now you want to run with it, and you're going to wind up running right off the edge of the cliff, and then you're going to wait for us to throw you the rope, and we're going to be busy doing the spot. Spring into savings right now and save like never before on a brand new car or truck from Armstrong Toyota of Homestead. They're on US 1, 20 minutes south of the 836. It's easy to find it, and it's worth the drive there because they're going to save you so much cash. Literally thousands on great new Toyotas. Unbeatable deals like these great leases. An 04 Camry or 4Runner, just $269 a month for 48 months. An 04 Highlander, just $309 a month. Need a truck? How about an 04 Toyota Tundra, the safest truck in America? You pay just $179 a month for 48 months. And these are just some of the savings waiting for you right now at Armstrong Toyota of Homestead. They're locally owned and operated, committed to making you a happy camper. Their service department is even open late till 8 weeknights to make sure they get all your work done for you. Easy to find them. They're right at the corner of US 1 and 293rd Street in Homestead, just 20 easy minutes out of the 836. And right now they're making you an offer like you've never heard before. Armstrong Toyota of Homestead offers you free tires, free batteries, and replacement parts for life. That's correct. Tires, batteries, and free parts for the life of your vehicle. Nobody else does that nowhere. So don't waste your time at those mega dealers or car giants who always seem to let you down. Call our good friend David Rich. He's the GM at Armstrong Toyota of Homestead for an unbeatable deal, no BS. Call 305-242-3247. 305-242-3247. Drive a little and save a lot on that great new Toyota at Armstrong Toyota of Homestead.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Friday, you bastard.
All right.
And another thing, if you would have listened to me, you would have been a big star by now. You with that little pipsqueak voice. How do you expect to get anywhere, you little puny puke? We say puke?
I think it's
I don't even know what it is.
the 3,500 whites. The more I hear you,
Yeah, what about it?
the more I hate you.
What do I care?
And when I'm near you, I wanna die. Your pecorino, toenail cheese aroma puts me in a coma and points my eye.
Why, you, I ought to smack you. There, see? I know my smell attracts you. But unlike Zach, you still got a job. I feel just like that you are my kid brother. And one yiddy to another. That's why you're still not fired. Doi, 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 doi. Doi, 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 doi. Doi, 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 doi. Our morning show can put you in a coma. Can't wait till it's over. All right, that's enough.
President Bush expresses deep disgust at these photos, the ones that they're showing over and over again on CNN now because they got them, and we saw on BBC and CBC last night.
Yeah.
Showing the prisoners hooded, wired, etc., heaped on top of each other, naked like into a pyramid, all of these things. With the Americans, soldiers standing in the back laughing and yucking it up. It's a fraternal thing you do understand. You do understand that.
I do.
It's a fraternity thing.
Right. It's just good fun.
Right. Anyway, Big Arnie informs us Rick Shaw's on in the morning with Donna somebody opposite Mo Howard Davided. How do you like that?
Absolutely.
Kick his ass, Rick, whatever your name is. Ricky Ticky. And then, of course, at 10 o'clock, as soon as Ricky Ticky's off the air, he's flips that cat back a couple of notches and turns on this show every single day. Religiously, am I right?
Yes.
You bet. This thing about Ferrell here, this long, from Joe, long facts, it's, I don't know. He's not making any impact there, I'll tell you that. He's got, like, no ratings. He talks a big game, I'll tell you that. And then he says he claims you talk about him at least a half hour every day, but that he likes you, most of the people at QM, even the Beast. Do we talk about Ferrell a half a minute every day?
No.
No. Maybe he would like us to talk about him for a half hour every day. He's got this ego thing, you know what I'm talking about?
What are you talking about?
I'm thinking he's got a...
I'll take your children. I'll sell them to some Haitians.
Oh, you know what I've never played?
What?
Oh, I better be careful now.
Yeah, I got my finger on it.
The FCC.
Oh, yeah, there's not even a word there. It's just a bleep. That's cute.
The FCC.
Nice going, sweetheart. Anyway, so let's see. Ferrell also says he'll be on in every market in Florida within a year. Can't wait to go up against you in midday, so we see who has the bigger numbers. Also claimed to carry QAM on his back when he was there. This is, well, I'm not going to go into it because this is a
part of the sales pitch, you know.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
When's the sales pitch in Atlanta start? When's he going to start getting some numbers there? I don't want to give you any, inside information, but somebody we all know once told me that he's a real BS artist. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. WQAM, hello.
Police.
What was it?
Police.
Oh, I hear him. You hear him? WQAM, hello. WQAM, hello. Wow. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil.
All I did was mention Ferrell and they scattered. Yes, sir.
I'd like to add one to the poll.
Yes?
The Reverend Al Sharpton.
Okay.
Have you...
The Reverend Al Sharpton. What's wrong with that? And your mother, Reverend Jones. Reverend Jones. As soon as he said Reverend, I was like, had my finger just diddling all over that thing.
That was part of his psych out.
Al Sharpton. That was great. WQAM, hello.
Good afternoon, Neil.
Good afternoon, sir.
Has anybody mentioned Benny Hinn?
No, but we will right now. Benny Hinn. Oh, and I'm glad you mentioned him because if we put him on there, you know who has to be on there? Ernest Ainsley.
Ooh.
I don't know how we spell that. You want to look it up or just
whatever?
Mix
we'll guess
up?
And butcher it.
Ernest Ainsley. Oh man. Say baby. I keep saying if he really can heal, all he's got to do is touch his head and get some real hair on that thing. Man, he's got one of the worst looking pieces in history. Ernest Ainsley. Say baby.
Tommy wants us to put Clarence on the list.
Clarence?
Eugene Thomas. No, our own Clarence.
Why is that?
He's got bad hair.
To be honest with you, I never noticed. I can't look at him that long. Okay, we'll put Clarence on there. Put Clarence Darrow. And then they'll think we're talking about the real one. I don't care. Hey, Tommy, butt out. You're a good guy, but get lost. And quit doing them doggy downers. He's really pushing up on Tommy. What is it?
He's got doggy downers and he's not sharing?
Right. How do you think he got his voice down like that? Are you gaining a lot of weight these days? Well, didn't you hear that, Spot? You heard it.
Of course.
Wow.
That's a effect
Who's
on
he
SoundForge.
WQAM, hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Anybody call in for, of course, she looked 20 years ago much better. She looks like a blonde, shrunken head now. That's Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett, well, I think it was too much time on that burning bed was what done her in. And maybe too much booze and too many pills. Farrah Fawcett, well, I don't know.
Whatever.
I mean, we don't want to put her on there. She's just a mess. She's a wreck. I don't think it's the hair. She could have the most beautiful hair in the world at this point. I don't think it's going to save her ass.
No.
It's not, you can put lovely piece on top of any shrunken head. It still don't look too good. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Oh, there's El Presidente who declared major combat over May 1st, 2003, which will be a year ago tomorrow.
Let me get your assessment of what the president said a year ago, knowing both sides of the equation, as you now know, Congressman Rangel.
We've lost 600 American lives and thousands of wounded since that day.
we've lost a total of 729 Americans. I am telling you that if the Congress knew and America knew what we know today, no weapons of mass destruction, no connection with 911, if we knew that the president intended to knock off Saddam Hussein by having a preemptive strike when there was no threat to the United States, we never would have allowed him to do that in the first place. And how long does it take? What is the mission? We don't even know what the enemy looks like, and we're dying every day.
And it's costing, Congressman Blunt, and I'll let you have the last word, it's costing, what, about $1 billion a week, $4.5 billion a month to keep U.S. troops in Iraq right now.
Well, there's the cost here, but, if we were making that decision based on the incredible cost of 9/11, and I don't concede that.
Oh, yeah, this really had something to do with 9/11. See, they immediately keep running back to that again, don't they?
Right.
What does it have to do with that? Anything?
No, the hole in the ground.
Right.
They put it there.
Wow. It is just amazing. I mean, without 9/11, they can't, there's nothing else,
That's why they let it happen.
That was George said that, but he may have a point.
That's why they let it happen.
WQAM, hello.
Yeah, that name for Neil?
Yes, sir. Speaking.
Oh, Neil, hi. Lyle Lovett.
Lyle, I love it, man. He's got bad everything.
Woo.
He's one of the grossest
The original
things.
Chia Pet.
Speaking of, thank you, sir. Great job. Okay, speaking of shrunken head. And he was married to Julia Roberts. See, I wish I'd have forgotten that. I wish somebody would erase that from my memory, because I just can't imagine what that's all about. Well, I can't imagine, but even that.
Well, you're the one that has always said maybe there's more
than meets the eye. Be careful now. Josh, be watching real close now. Keep your finger right next to it. I'm telling you.
Tap it.
Oh, speaking of that. Oh, yeah, when Dave Johnson said tap it, I just about fell off my chair. You can't say tap it no more. First he said ass, which was okay, and then tap it? You better change that Haas's name, mister, or else Tom Durkin ain't going to be able to announce that name tomorrow during the race. Oh, I forgot to mention to Dave Johnson about Mike Battaglia and what a jackhole that guy is. He is the worst race caller and just a jerk. Mike Battaglia. But anyway, nobody else knows who I'm talking about, do they?
No.
Good, just as well. Mad Dad meets out justice. That's MEATS. This is cute. George sent this along. From the New York Post today, no less. Meets out justice to his kid with beef jerky. A Staten Island bodega owner whipped his young son with an 18-inch stick of beef jerky after catching the boy skipping school, authorities said. I bet he whipped him till he was jerky. The bizarre incident began about 10 o'clock in the morning, April 24, when a school official called Esteban, I love this name, Esteban Palafox, 34, at his store, Mexico Azteca 2 in Tompkinsville, telling him, Esteban Palafox, 34, at his store, Mexico Azteca 2 in Tompkinsville.
Okay.
It just all kind of rolls right along there, like that, telling him that the 10-year-old Esteban Jr. had not shown up for classes for 3 days, and the elder Palafox told the Post these things. Enraged, Palafox began searching for his son and found him inside their apartment above the deli at 7 Corson Avenue. After he shouted at the boy, Palafox went down to the deli to retrieve the dried beef, cops said. He then returned to his apartment and repeatedly whacked the boy's thigh with the jerky, leaving bruises, according to police. I'm not making this up. It's in the Post. And, of course, we know they never make anything up. I want to live good. I want my child to live good, too, Palafox said. He insisted the punishment fit the crime. Asked if he regretted turning the beef jerky on his son. He was emphatic. He said, No. They got 5 of them here. Palafox was arrested Tuesday and charged with assault, criminal possession of a weapon, the beef jerky, and endangering the welfare of a child. Oh, man.
Good thing they didn't find the licorice whip.
Cops found out about the incident after the child's mother, Palafox's ex-wife, took her son to a local hospital. The hospital notified child welfare officials. Palafox was arraigned yesterday in Staten Island criminal court, released without bail. Ava Orzesko, who owns the Polish place, a deli a block away, that's the name of it, the Polish place, was shocked to hear of the charges against Palafox. Oh, my God, she said.
Oh, my God.
That's terrible. It's unbelievable. He seems like such a nice guy. Unbelievable. She said Esteban Jr. is a nice kid. Sometimes kids can make you angry, but that doesn't give people right to lose control and get so jerky.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560 QAM.
It's Scott Ferrero. And when I'm up in Boca Chica slapping old women with painted lips around the pool,
I listen to the Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour.
I listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Bill, cigars, and Monica.
Oh, you know something?
Wrong one?
I don't know. I'm just sitting here just minding my own business. I don't recall whether I just went over the original one. I guess I didn't. Boy, I must be as sharp as a matzo ball today, you know what?
Nice.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that was that one. And this is this one. Nice job. Thank you.
Bill cigars and Monica's. She lets out a giggle when he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the. But a cigar and her, he don't mind. Well, he don't know where a stogie goes. I can see how there was some confusion between humidor and humid. And in Arkansas, the term cedar, we saw her naked. Stars report can lead to going blind. Now Clinton, he was working hard, late nights in the Ovary office, working on a practical joke. He took a Macanudo, put an exploding load in. Poor Monica was blowing rings of smoke. Bill cigars and Monica's. She lets out a giggle every time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the. But a cigar and her, he don't mind. Oh, people feel that Hillary's been made a fool of by her husband. Feel that Hillary was wronged. Up in the Lincoln bedroom, she was moaning, moaning. Al Gore was doing her with Bill's old bong. All right. Bill's cigars and Monica's. She lets out a giggle every friggin' time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the. But a cigar and her, she don't mind. Oh, candy, Sandy, and her. Master is faster. Oh, yeah. What you gotta do is take a Tipperillo and put it in. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, now a cigar and her. Oh, yeah.
Well, that was pretty close, and it's a good thing I was paying like a little bit of attention because Josh would have been diving all over the button and on it and around it and over it. But I caught it just in the old nicotine. I'm thinking of that facts about Ferrero, the nauseating obsession that some of these people have. It's really sad because they haven't got no clue. They haven't got any idea how much tsuris, how much grief this guy created for all of us. Really did.
Yeah.
Total loose cannon. I'm not just talking about on the air. I'm talking about off the air as well. But that's okay.
You just keep kidding yourself, folks. He was great.
Yeah. It was great. U.S. general disgusted by prison photos. In the face of international outrage, a U.S.-led coalition military official said he's disgusted, and ought to be, by photographs that apparently show American soldiers abusing detainees at the Abu Ghraib prison outside Baghdad. The photographs, which first aired Wednesday on CBS 60 Minutes 2 in the U.S., were shown today by Arab TV networks. That should go over real big. Brigadier General Mark Kimmett, the coalition's deputy chief of operations, said today he was appalled that fellow soldiers who wear the same uniform would do this. They let us down. It's hard to provide any way to provide any excuse. They crossed the line, violated every tenet we teach in the Army about dignity and respect, adding that he was expressing his personal opinion, not speaking on the coalition's behalf. U.S. military said 6 U.S. soldiers have been charged with abusing inmates at the prison, which was infamous under Saddam Hussein's reign, of course, for abusing prisoners. CBS said it has dozens of pictures purportedly showing a wide range of abuse. Some of the images published on the one London-based newspaper's website show naked, hooded prisoners. In one, a male and female soldiers smile as they pose with prisoners. One picture apparently shows an Iraqi prisoner standing on a box with his head covered and wires attached to his hands. And it goes on. Well, you'll see him 80 billion times. CNN is starting to make the rounds,
Mm-hmm.
If you thought you saw Janet Jackson's boobies a lot, just wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. Now, speaking of that, I just got to go back because I know we have a lot of people who come in, of course they shouldn't be. They should be listening all 4 hours solid all through the day, but they don't. They pretend they have a life.
I have no life.
And so they may have missed the beginning of the show. This is far too important to just go over the real,
lightly.
Licking a schmearly. The Miami Herald is just a piece of crap is what it is. And it frosts my ass. That stuff gets put in the newspaper and people, because they see it in print, they actually believe it. Oh, I saw it in the Herald. It must be true. I saw it in the paper.
If you saw it in the Herald.
Yeah, what you ought to do is read 10 other papers just to be sure. Go online and check with everything else you can just to verify. Because if you saw it in the Herald, it's probably full of crap. In their business section today, here's a big story by Howard Cohen. And Howard, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, whoever you are, okay? In fact, I think we ought to go out and get some beef jerky right now and just whip some sense into that boy. Headline says, Big 106 not hurt by shock jock loss. Big 106's sudden replacement of the controversial but popular shock jock Howard Stern apparently had little impact on the radio station's most recent ratings. It says, in a 3-month period ended March 31st, the ranking of WBGG, a.k.a. Big 106, fell from 21st to 22nd overall ratings in the demographic of 12 plus, the latest Arbitron figures released yesterday's show. That's the only accurate thing that he's got in there. The only problem being that nobody cares about 12 plus. In morning, and I'll say it again, how much intelligence do you have to figure that if Howard Stern had been 17th in any demographic that mattered, then nobody would have cared about it.
Right.
In morning drive time hours, however, when Stern show aired, the station maintained its number 17 position. They were never number 17. In the fall book, they were number 4 when Stern was on, with a 4.3 share. In this winter book, they dropped from a 4.3 to a 2.7, and they're number 18. They were never number 17 in either book. Most of the tracking period included Stern show except for March. And again, that's another misleading statement because the rating period was January, February, March, so that a third was without Stern. The full effect of Stern's departure in late February likely be felt the next quarter's tracking period. But again, the essence of this station, which supposedly is the Herald coverage of yesterday's Arbitron ratings for the Miami-Fort Lauderdale Hollywood market, the essence being, they're not doing so bad without him. They dropped in February in Men 2554, which is his main demo and the one that we most care about. WBGG dropped from a 9 what was it? I better look at it. 9.9, almost a 10 share in February, to a 1.8 in March. Just a small drop. Yeah. No big thing. From a 7.1 in January, a 9.9 in February, and a 1.8 share. This is a 100,000 watt Class C FM, okay? A signal bigger than Howard Cohen's ass. And that's saying a lot. And they put this in there. So Eric did a good job. He put this on our website and says more bullcrap or whatever he put on there from the Herald. More lies, more BS, more misinformation. I'm still waiting for Tom Jicka to write something, okay, aren't you? Because I know that Muff gave him all the numbers yesterday. Yeah. And if you write about anybody on the airtime, you might want to mention some names in there, too, sweetheart. A 9.9 to a 1.8. Sure, it didn't have much impact. It's a good thing. Because after all, who the hell would want to listen to Howard Stern? And speaking of that, NPR's poor reception. Bumping morning edition. Now, you listen to NPR. I've never heard it in my life. Not for a second.
Right.
So I'm sure you know who Bob Edwards was?
No.
What?
Is he the afternoon guy?
No. Morning guy.
No.
Bob Edwards sits at the... Oh, that's right, you're listening to Mo.
Absolutely.
Bob Edwards sits at the center console of Morning Edition's main studio, silently reading yellow sheets of script. He crosses out a line, writes in new words, draws a ring around a paragraph. Putting his headphones on, Edwards speaks to Emily Harris, reporting from Iraq about car bombings in Basra. Then he does a live introduction to a taped interview about Arab reaction to the latest fighting. On this particular Wednesday, as on just about every weekday for nearly 25 years, Edwards' voice is unruffled, as calm as the room in which he works on the second floor of NPR's headquarters on Massachusetts Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C. His baritone is the voice 13 million Americans a week hear on the radio as they take their showers, drink their coffee, drive to work every morning. That's more people than listen to anyone except Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, that
and
guy.
Limbaugh works at midday when there's no competition from Howard Stern and Don Imus and all the morning zoos who tussle over the airwaves. Charles Osgood says that for most people, Bob Edwards is the definition of public radio. He's a legend. Senator John Sununu also says, I'll miss him. Well, that's pretty exciting. Because in a move, even the bosses at National Public Radio admit they bungled. Tomorrow will be Bob Edwards' last day. Now, was this written yesterday? Yes. So that means today is his last day. It's already done. As host of the Morning Edition, the most listened to news program on radio, he's been named a senior correspondent assignment undefined, while NPR veterans Reese Montagnier and Steve Inskeep start Monday as interim co-hosts. The switch, NPR executives say, is part of a system-wide changes driven by the need to expand and deepen coverage. Yada, yada, yada. So it goes on at great length, and the listeners are PO'd. The listeners, why should they be different from anybody else? Listeners everywhere are PO'd. I mean, our show is watered down like taking a big tub of Ben & Jerry's fish food and putting about 80% of water in it. Stern is off the air in South Florida and the 5 other markets. And people ask you, is this for real? Are we just joking? Are we kidding around? And then Dave the Cop wants us to play Freeway and Spigot. You must be on heavy duty stuff today, man. Heavy medication for the weekend. Dave the Cop. In fact, my heart was like fluttering around in my throat when I realized that I started playing that last bit.
Right.
And just when it got to that word there, I said, I better take a look at this because I think I screwed up. And guess what? I did. It was going to be the one where it says that.
Yeah, no.
And that would be really bad. 12 minutes after 1 at 560 WQM. Don't forget, join Geldy tonight, 6 to 8 at the Quarterdeck, 12370 West Sunrise Boulevard Plantation. Stop by for specials on Amstel Light. And while you're there, you can register to win a trip for 2 to the Iceland Open coming up in June in Iceland, no less. That's 6 to 8 tonight, Geldy at the Quarterdeck in Sunrise. He'll tell you all about Jiggs McDonald, how he retired, how he's going to take his job, he's going to do this, how Mo is a real...
Absolutely.
Hey, is your company suffering from regulations and increased labor costs? Let Oasis Outsourcing help you when it comes to the people side of your business. Payroll administration, Fortune 500 company employee benefits, human resource services, and risk management are just a few of the services that Oasis Outsourcing can cover to help your business be more profitable. Call Oasis Outsourcing today for a free evaluation. Call 1-866-OASIS. That's 1-866-286-2747. With more than 60,000 employees worldwide, Oasis Outsourcing understands the many facets of human resource management. Outsourcing is being recognized by firms large and small as a powerful management choice, which lets you focus on your core business while you leave the operational details to the folks at Oasis Outsourcing. Let the Oasis Outsourcing people make your business more profitable. For a free evaluation, call them toll-free, 1-866-OASIS. That's 1-866-286-2747 for Oasis Outsourcing.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
David Milch's version of the Old West, when cowboys were smelly and used 500 curse words per sentence. There's a new gunslinger in town to avenge the death of his friend, Wild Bill Hickey.
What you do from these parts, stranger?
Yeah, who the are you? I'm Buffalo Bill, Mommy.
He's saying no.
Ted Levine is Buffalo Bill.
You sure are fast on a draw.
I wouldn't be fast if I didn't put the lotion in a holster.
Stranger.
Take me to the tailor for my new skin suit.
That's about as close as we can get to promoting the dialogue of Deadwood, only on HBO.
118 at 560 WQM, the Mad Dog at 2. So guess what? Bob Edwards signed off this morning on NPR.
Who?
Well, I mean, just had that story, and here's the follow-up because the show is over. He's done. After nearly 25 years as host of Morning Edition, he thanked the hundreds of people who've done their best to make me sound like I know what I'm talking about, he said. His removal as one of the nation's most recognizable radio voices, launched a petition drive in protest, did not change the decision by public radio executives to reassign him. He ended his run today by interviewing Charles Osgood of CBS News. Osgood was the first person he spoke to when Morning Edition started in 1979. He said, "You're the alpha and the omega," he said. He's been the only host of the show, and he didn't hide his disappointment at the reassignment. He was hoping to be there for the show's 25th anniversary this fall, and they said, not so fast, Bob. You're out. You're out, Tom. Maybe I could help.
You're out.
Tom. 5670560. We're talking bad hair today, man. We got no shortage of people on here. Which of these people has the worst-looking head of hair, real or imaginary, dead or alive? Donald Trump, 224. Mo Howard David, moving up a bit, 109. Don King, 80. Sam Donaldson, 58. Jim Trafficant, 35. Condoleezza, 24. Gene Katie, 14. I still have no idea who that is. Who is he?
Purdue basketball coach.
I don't care. Marv Albert, 13. Ted Koppel, 10. Dennis Kucinich, 9. Howard Cosell, 9. Boy, Dave Johnson just hated him. Matt Lauer, whose hair is like all over the place. One day it's this, one day, and I never watched the show, so how do I know? 5. Trent Lott 5. Dennis Rodman 4. Whoopi Goldberg 4. Albert Einstein 4. Benny Hinn 3. Aaron Brown's all the way up to 3. He's moving it. Burt Reynolds 3. Marty Allen's got a pair. Lyle I Love It 2. Phyllis Diller 2. Carrot Top's got only 2. How's that possible? Al Sharpton 2, and from there on, it's really slim pickings. Rick Dudley's got the big.
Oh!
He got nothing. In every possible way, Rick Dudley is the big O. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty good, Pally.
You know, I keep hearing all these things and going on, and then Mutt and Jeff.
All of these things. Yeah.
All of these things.
Yes.
Jeff went over to before Congress and such. But remember, it's just a police action.
Yeah, right. Sure.
That's what I say.
Okay, good luck to you. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Pretty funny stuff, huh? I didn't realize there was such great humor in the Hardy Har. Maybe this guy will be just laughing out loud when Ted Koppel's reading the names of all those dead soldiers tonight and showing them pictures. He'll just be yucking them up pretty good. Yeah, out loud. And luckily, Channel 10 is not owned, WPLG, by that outfit by Sinclair Broadcasting Group. And so they will be showing the ABC Ted Koppel tonight, 11:35, like most of the affiliates around the country, except for those 7 stations owned by a bunch of bush-sucking clowns. Man, what a disgrace. See, this is what it comes down to. You got Diebold makes the voting machines. You got people like Cheap Channel and Sinclair and Fox News, and they just continue, brainwashing, selectively putting whatever they want. CNN, which is, I got to read this art column by Maureen Dowd, You want to know why? It's on our website. It's not real long. Because it fits in with what I said before about how that statement by John McCain should have come from John Kerry about the censorship business. But John Kerry don't seem to care about censorship, whether it's radio, whether it's about television, whether it's Sinclair Group, Cheap Channel, no matter who it is. So he has nothing to say about it. Maureen Dowd writes in the New York Times yesterday. She says, so let's see, what's our swell choice here? A guy who mimed being a fighter pilot on a carrier versus a guy who mimed throwing his medals over a fence? An incumbent who sticks with the wrong decisions based on the wrong facts versus a challenger who seems unable to stick to one side of any decision, right or wrong. A Republican who's a world-class optimist despite making the world more dangerous and virulently anti-American versus a Democrat who looks like a world-weary loner even as he pledges to make the world safer and more pro-American. A president who can't go anywhere without his vice president to give him the answers versus a candidate who can't go anywhere without his campaign butler/buddy to give him peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Bush campaign strategists don't seem worried that every positive development the administration predicted would happen if we invaded Iraq has soured into the opposite. As an article on Monday in the Times noted about the growing ranks of angry Muslims, the call to jihad is rising in the streets of Europe and is being answered. Communing with the Higher Father and the Almighty, President Bush has either stumbled into a holy war or swaggered into one. In their new book, The Bushes, Peter and Rochelle Schweitzer, who interviewed many Bushes, including the president's father and his brother Jeb, quote, one unnamed relative is saying that W sees the war on terror as a religious war. He doesn't have a PC view of this war. His view is that they are trying to kill the Christians, and we know the Christians will strike back with more force and more ferocity than they'll ever know. Bush strategists seem to believe that the worse Mr. Bush makes things, the better off he is because nervous Americans will cling to the obstinate president they know over the vacillating challenger they don't know. Senator Kerry's talent for turning a winning proposition into a losing one is disturbingly reminiscent of Al Gore, who somehow managed to lose an election he won. So is Mr. Kerry's sometimes supercilious manner and his habit of exacerbating a small thing with an answer that's not quite straight. When the senator was asked last week whether he owned a gas-scarfing Chevy Suburban SUV, he replied, I don't own an SUV, only to have to admit when pressed further by reporters that his wife owns the SUV. The family has it, he said lamely. I don't have it. The White House pounds Mr. Kerry for not playing straight on small bore stuff, even as they don't play straight on huge bore stuff. The House Democratic leader, Nancy Pelosi, pronounced the administration in denial yesterday after hearing Condi Rice's briefing for House Democratic lawmakers. This is an administration that told us our troops would be welcomed with roses, she said. Instead, it's rocket-propelled grenades. This is an administration that told us the Iraqi government would be able to pay for its own reconstruction, and soon, and now it's costing nearly $200 billion to the American people. She added, and it was expressed by the National Security Advisor now, that yes, there was disappointment. Disappointment about the Iraqi security forces not being able to secure the region that they were assigned to, and this is the judgment that the American people have placed their confidence in? Mr. Kerry errs on the side of giving the answer he thinks people want to hear, even as Mr. Bush errs on the side of giving the answer he expects people to accept as true. When the president was asked yesterday by a reporter whether it would take an all-out military offensive to put down the violence in Fallujah and whether this would impede the transfer of power on June 30th, he was reassuring despite news of the aerial bombardment of Fallujah by U.S. gunships and the 70-ton battle tanks being rushed in to aid Marines in escalating the fight. Most of Fallujah is returning to normal, the president said, presumably defining normal as flattened. Anyway, is that 10 minutes to normal, as Karen Hughes would say, or 10 years to normal? And what on earth is normal when you're talking about Iraq chaos theory? Asks Maureen Dowd. Well, she's got her thumb right on it, man.
Sure enough.
And as usual, Democratic Party, like I've been telling you for a long time, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. We got a long way to go, but I mean, this should be a no-brainer. Should be a shoe-in and a shoe-out for the Bushmeister and his neocons. But once again, they just from the Michael Dukakis of the world, and they just never stop. To the Walter Mondales and Geraldine Ferraro. 26 after 1 at 560 WQM. Have you been putting off that home improvement dream because you're afraid of a home improvement nightmare? Well, here's a way to eliminate that problem. Design Concept Builders is the answer you've been searching for. Design Concept Builders has been one of the top home remodelers in South Florida since 1983 for the following reasons. Their 100% customer satisfaction and their no excuses policy. They positively refuse to have an unhappy customer. They offer you quality work, fair price, and Design Concept Builders exclusive 5-year labor warranty too. So why take the risk of a nightmare when you're adding on to your house, whether it's a kitchen, a bathroom, windows, any other project? Call the folks you can depend on, Design Concept Builders at 954-718-6766, or on the net, it's designconceptbuilders.com. And financing is available with no payments for 6 months with approved credit. You can also receive a 10% discount on all your remodeling, but only through the end of the month of April, which means today's the deadline. So call them today, Design Concept Builders. Check them on the web, designconceptbuilders.com, and then make that call. Save some extra cash, 10% by calling today, 954-718-6766.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAQAM.
If you've ever watched us, you know that we're newlyweds. And you'd swear there's only empty space inside my head. But you keep returning, fascinated by your dicks. Who can't tell if she ate chicken or tuna fish? 'Cause they took my brains away. Took my brains away. Here's something you don't see on every reality show. People who are famous just for what they do not know. Yeah. But you always tune in 'cause I say the darndest things. Like the time I thought that buffaloes have tiny wings. 'Cause they took my brains away. Took my brains away.
131, you know, you almost let me get on here today without the most important story of the year, O.J. murder confession. Wow.
What?
It's on the front page of the Inquirer.
Well, I missed it.
O.J. Simpson's family members believe that his daughter Sydney overheard her father chillingly confess to the brutal murder of her mom, Nicole. The Inquirers learned in a startling new blockbuster revelation.
Oh, my God.
As we previously reported, Sydney thought she had witnessed her father stabbing her mother to death on that fateful night in 1994 when she was 8 years old, but repressed the traumatic memory. Now, in an equally shocking development, as the 10-year anniversary of Nicole's death nears, family members believe buried memories of her father's confession are surfacing and causing the ongoing feud between O.J. and Sydney to explode. We believe the reason for Sydney's frustration and her anger at her father is that she thinks she heard him make a confession about the killings, a family source told the Inquirer. You following this? In other words, I think I'm reading this in this week's Inquirer, which is dated something. I don't even know where the hell the date is. Something, and she thinks she may have heard it. Got it?
Got it.
At one point, she thought she witnessed the murder. Sydney was prone to sleepwalking when she was younger and may have stumbled downstairs while her brother Justin and 5 slept and seen her father killing her mother. Because she was so traumatized, she may have repressed her memory of the murder, but as Sydney's getting older, some of these repressed memories are surfacing, and now she remembers him on the phone admitting to the killings. Incredibly, Sydney recently told pals about a phone conversation her father had after he was found not guilty in the criminal case, says the family source. O.J. said, "Okay, I did it. That's water under the bridge. So what?" the source reveals. Nice. Like maybe, did you mow the lawn today?
Right.
Okay, I did it. An expert in forensic psychiatrist. Did you shoot a triple bogey on the 14th? I did it. An expert in forensic psychiatry, Dr. Neil S.K., who's now treating Sydney, says it's possible that she's repressed memories of events pointing to her father's guilt. There are situations generally involving trauma where people will repress or forget things, he said. But another forensic psychiatrist, Dr. Mohan Nair, said it may also be possible that Sydney has had these memories all along, but only able to talk about them now because she's older. It is possible she heard her dad say these things and has held it inside all these years and now feels safer speaking up because she's an adult, said Dr. Nair, who's not treating Sydney. Whatever the reason, family members believe that Sydney's memories are the reason that her relationship with her dad has deteriorated. After the killings, in fact, here's a picture of Sydney. She's a knockout.
Yeah, she is.
She's a high school senior in Miami whose relationship with her father is described as icy cold. After the killing, she became withdrawn, gained weight, burst into unpredictable rages at her father. Last year, she even locked herself in a room and called police after a heated argument with her dad and went too far at their Miami home. She heard the end of 9/11 call yelling at O.J., "You're a loser." She heard at the end of the 9/11 call yelling, she's heard, "You're a loser." I thought maybe the guy on the other end of the phone was saying it. Now Sydney, a high school senior in Miami who wants to become a child psychologist, has told her friend she can't wait to get out of the house. The relationship between O.J. and his daughter is icy cold, said another family source. They seldom talk. At the end of February, O.J. was in the Bahamas, then returned to Miami. They argued. Then a week later, before O.J. went to L.A. to work on his proposed reality TV show, Juiced is the name of the show, the two had more words. As the source, Sydney says she's counting the days till she's off to college, where she has more freedom and can begin her adult life. Nicole's sister, Denise Brown, said if Sydney did overhear her dad's confession, it would explain a lot. They don't get along very well. They tolerate each other at best, she told the Inquirer. Although O.J. has never hit Sydney, he is quick to lose his temper and frightens her, sources say. For that reason, they doubt the petty teen will ever confront him about what she thinks she saw the night of the murders or what she overheard him say on the phone. And, of course, she sure hopes you don't read the Inquirer. This is pretty weak, This is lame. And then Juice lawyer Kardashian died knowing the truth. Is the whole thing in here about they interviewed his wife?
Yeah.
Bob Kardashian?
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't say nothing.
Huh.
He didn't say nothing. And after he got real sick, Kardashian, O.J. called and talked to her, wanted to speak to Bob. He was on the verge of death. He never spoke to O.J. again. I made the decision that when he called, I wasn't going to let him speak to him. Robert never even knew that Simpson had called. I felt it was the right decision. My husband was near death at the time. All those years had gone by, and Simpson had never called. Never came to the funeral either, and I was real glad about that. But you read this whole thing here, and she don't say anything. So it's much ado about nothing. The Inquirer's had like 3-4 issues in a row that have been really, really weak. I mean, lame. And so they figured they got to put a blockbuster on the front there. We got Michael Jackson way, way back on the inside there. Way, way back to try to get you to go through all the ads and buy a few magnetic bracelets. And a few more naked pictures of Britney and Ashton Kutcher. But on the front page, we got the O.J. You got to see the look on his face. His daughter's really cute.
Yeah, I've seen her.
And?
She's cute.
567 O.J. 567 O.J. did it. That was great. Even a crow couldn't do that. See? It's a subliminal thing. It goes to show you. It's all that propaganda, man. 567 O.J. 60.
I like that one.
I'll bet you do. Man, that crow. Now, when is he on? He's got to be on this weekend. We got all this baseball crap going on. I mean, the Marlins are hot. He's on 2:30 to 3:30 tomorrow before the Marlin-Giant game. And the Crow's on 2 to 2:30. Just a quick half hour with the Crow. That's all you need. He can get on all his good shots in a half an hour before the Marlin game on Sunday. I mean, you can say...
How about you and Amoeba, Trobe, the Amoeba, the Blob? Okay?
Exactly, in a lot less than a half an hour. You can say it a whole bunch of times. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. So I may have just read that from the Inquirer, who may have just printed that thing, and somebody may have actually said that they heard it. Got it?
Maybe.
Good. WQAM, hello. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Hey, long time. I haven't spoken with you in a long time.
Well, here you go. Here's your chance, man.
Hey, I never got to talk to you about the FCC. I was wondering if you could still say the word Christmas.
No. 5670560, whatever it is, the answer is
No.
Can't say it. WQAM, hello.
How about Jim Lehrer for worst hair?
Jim Lehrer from PBS.
Yeah.
Pretty boring guy, too. Okay, thank you, sir. Jim Lehrer. That's Lehrer. Jim Lehrer, as he pronounces it, and I have no idea why. I mean, Tom Lehrer was Tom Lehrer, right? But Jim Lehrer is Jim Lehrer. I have no clue. Boy, talk about a boring newscast. 5670560. It is. Have you ever watched the PBS News Hour? Even when Robin McNeil was on there. Boy, if you think it's boring now. I mean, it's one thing to be an intellectual and to be like an egghead and all these things,
All of these things.
But it's another thing to be coma-inducing, and that's what PBS is, which is why nobody watches it. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Except Frontline last night. Yes, sir.
How about Tony Cigaretto?
Tony Cigaretto's got, I don't know, has he got funky hair? I don't think so. Forget that. You ever notice anything about Tony's hair?
He's got conditioner in it. It's combed back.
I think this guy may want to, get in touch with him, so to speak. 5670560. I think they're running dry. I think the list is pretty good. We'll put a few, Since about 11:30. No, they're adding. We got a few more coming on here, and I'm sure that there's some very obvious, glaring ones that they've left off, which we could extend a hand of, assistance there, but why the hell should we do that? We gotta do everything for these people?
Yes.
Or what? With all this great free entertainment? Don't forget to join Geldy. One last little promo for Geldy tonight, because he sure deserves it. And boy, does he hate Mo, or what? He just can't stand it. No Mo. Join Geldy. He'll tell you, just poke him in the ribs a couple times, he'll go, like that. 6 to 8 tonight at the Quarterdeck, 12370 West Sunrise Boulevard, Plantation. Stop by. They got specials on Amstel Light and register to win a trip for two to the Iceland Open Golf Tournament coming up in June. You might be the lucky wiener. That's 6 to 8 tonight with Geldy at the Quarterback in Sunrise.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
It's D.O. in Miami town at 560 WQAM.
Back in the day when someone done us wrong, we didn't take their crap. In Pearl Harbor, when the Japs dropped their bombs, we bombed them back. And now the Saudis, they hit us hard, and on our cars our little flags wave, as that Saudi-loving retard points the bombers the wrong way. And I'm embarrassed to be an American, where they follow Bush like sheep. The United States of arrogance, led by Bush and his family, retake up this country. And the link towards the darkest days in our history. I don't want to be a Pax American in the USA. What's a few thousand innocent lives? Stop living in the past. If you want that SUV to drive, you're gonna need more gas. It's the greatest country in the world. They train us to believe. And anyone who says that obviously can't afford to leave. And I'm embarrassed to be an American, where we patriotically wave a flag in one hand with our head in the sand and blindly follow the powers that be. Apathetic, watching State Front News on a 65-inch screen. Scratch your part, everything's okay.
Oh my God.
In the USA.
146, I love that. In fact, I like it even better with all the added sounds in it. Like, that one's my favorite.
It's appropriate.
Now, I don't know if we can play this. It's actually called Nasal Passages, the Bush song that somebody faxed the one here. Can we play it?
They're clean. I mean, it's clean.
We'll keep real close to the button now and find out. Because it blows.
Yeah, it does. Close that button, soldier boy.
Oop.
in his brain. Inside his nose, nothing else remains of his nasal passages. That's why George always thought he had no nasal passages. He bought a team to inhale the third base line.
Absolutely.
He was born into money, but he's so goddamn dumb. Without it, he would be a homeless bum.
So did I.
Life of the party in his college days.
So did Josh.
Left him with 2 cells for a brain and no nasal passages. That's the reason he snorts heavily. He has no nasal passages.
No.
I bought my ticket and I'm holding my passport tight.
Good idea. See, I can fix that up with great ease for, like, this summertime when I got all that spare time. And you're going to be doing the show almost every day. I can, fix up a whole bunch of these with just 1 or 2 like that, Right. Sure. So thank the Lord for Gildy. 56705. What? What are you laughing about? Without, where the hell would we be? I mean, this is boring. Okay?
I don't know.
Nobody wants to hear that because it reminds them of the censorship and they get pissed off and fired up. But what do you hear? Yeah, it puts a smile on their puss, That's kind of cute. Yeah. No, that's not good. WQAM, hello.
Hey, you ever been to Oklahoma?
No thanks. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How about those Marlins?
Let's get a whole bunch of these on before I have to bail out of here. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, did you see that big billboard on US 1 in South Miami up here?
No.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's right on the road.
Big billboard of what?
Of you.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for the good news. 149 at QAM.
Live and local. This is 560.
The radio's all yours now.
QAM.
Bastard.
If you're on the radio, you gotta use restraint. So the neocons can govern and control your brain. Don't use obscenities now.
Stop it
There's
right
a
now.
reason for that.
They take dissension by distorting the facts.
You've been officially warned. No, you can't say that. If you're not very Republican or good Christian, then what you say on the air will be considered a sin. Don't put the president down. You'll be silent for that.
Just like the body count that's back from Iraq.
You've been officially warned. No, you can't say that. Better make it clean. With reference to the Lord above, or the FCC. We'll find you one day and take your license away, boy. That for all I know could be a word you avoid. Or I could have my radio career destroyed. They'll shut the signal down.
Absolutely.
Except for White House weird neocon acts.
You've been officially warned. No, you can't say that.
But we must just be kidding about all that, right? Sure.
Yeah.
It's 1:55. We got the Mad Dog standing by. He'll be along at 2. Joe Zagacki this afternoon because the Humper is up there. The Hebrew Hammer is up in Louisville to plunge his guts on the Derby tomorrow. And what's not to like with that? Then we got the Big O at 7 o'clock. I'm so sorry.
Oh!
We apologize in advance. 9:40, it's the pregame. Marlins on deck. Marlins at San Francisco at 10:15 tonight. What are we going to do about that Sporting News Radio? Well, I'm sure that they'll put Joe Costello back on, aren't you?
No.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. Not in light of these trying times in which we live. Anyway, which of these people has the worst looking head of hair, dead or alive, the hair too? Donald Trump, 241. Mo Howard David at 127. Pretty good showing by the Mo man, but he's no match for the Donald. Don King, 92. Sam Donaldson, 63. In fact, who's with a D? Look at that. Looks like D is not a good initial to have for good hair. Donald Trump, Mo Howard David, Don King, and Sam Donaldson with 63. Jim Trafficant, 38. Condoleezza, 27. Gene Katie, 15. Marv Albert, 13. Dennis Kucinich, 10. Now, he should be doing better than that, right?
He ought to.
I mean, he's got the worst. I mean, just the smarmiest, nastiest, rattiest black mess just laying there on his head. Ted Koppel, 10. Don't forget Ted Koppel tonight, 11:35. You'll see it in Florida. South Florida, not North Florida. Howard Cosell, 9. Trent Lott's got 6. Carrot Top, 5. And Lyle I Love at 5. Dennis Rodman, 5. Matt Lauer, a whole bunch with 5. Including Whoopi Goldberg, who should have like 500. WQAM, hello.
Why don't you go back to Min?
WQAM, hello.
Show's been sucking like...
WQAM, hello. You know, since they ran out of names, then we go to the, which is good. Let's get a whole bunch of these in. We still got a couple of minutes. WQAM, hello. QAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
2 more for your list if they're not dead already.
Not too late. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Don't you love 2 more? I got a whole list here. I got all written on my arm like in Memento. All the way to my elbow, all the way to my
rectum
ass. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
All right.
My favorite clips are "Hiya, Pally" and "Ah." Those are my...
No, I'm glad to hear it. Oh, that was good, huh? What did I tell you? I'm no fool. I've been around the block a few times. I can smell it when they're like running really dry. What are you making all kinds of guttural sounds for? And by the way, while I'm on vacation...
Yeah?
What?
I'm just getting a lung full of air.
Oh, I see. For next week.
Right.
Save it because I think you'll need it. Well, I'm on vacation now. Be sure you'll be emailing me all of those breakouts because I'm really disappointed. I would have thought that Maddie Bell and Miss Tanner and all those would have had all those breakdowns, and probably we actually made it, which is why they're trying to prolong as possible.
Duff will get them to you. He has your email.
Who will?
Duff. He'll get them first. He'll get them.
Oh, is he still going to be there? 567. That's just a little joke. It's just, you know, he's a little bit on the nervous side, so I just like adding to it a little bit. Just a little bit on the squeamish side. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got one for your bowl.
Okay.
How about Gene Wilder?
You don't come any wilder than Gene.
How about that with that semi-afro, comb-over,
whatever that thing is, yeah.
Crazy look, yeah.
Okay, good choice. Thank you.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you another one that nobody, because everybody forgot him already. What's the guy